throwing his knight into the center of the board. One thing that Lawrence has got, he's got some very interesting opening ideas, right? He seems to know everything, MrDodgy. He seems
He
to know more
does.
than
He
Magnus
has he has
Carlsen.
files. He has a lot of files, and files on every opening. They go very deep.
He
He's got
has
a
more.
lot of ideas.
He's got a lot of ideas. He's got ideas and everything, but he's moved his knight in. It seems fairly balanced. I mean, the problem with these French defense positions in the long run is that this pawn can be very weak, and there's a big square here. But apart from that, and I've got to remember how to get rid of. There we go. I remember how to use the software. Apart from that, Black's trying to get quite a lot of counterplay over here on the king side, and Lawrence loves attacking, doesn't he? You know, MrDodgy.
He's a very dangerous attacking player, and I think if he gets the right positions, he is the second lowest rated player in the field. But if he gets good positions, gets a chance to attack, he's very dangerous.
Very dangerous. And going back to his boxing videos, I'm really impressed. I mean, he's been training now for this big chess boxing fight against Simon Hamilton. He's playing a very normal move here, more pressure on the F file, and I think White would love to get his knight to this square. If White can play that, he might be all right. We have a typical French defense video, but he seems to be in really good shape. I'm going to have to put him as favorite against Aman in that match.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of him, man. I don't know what kind of shape he's in at the moment, but yeah, Lawrence looks. He could be chess boxing world champion. I think
He could be. He could be. Yeah, he's doing very good. Okay, more exchanges on the board, and now White's got a bit of an ugly pawn structure, but this seems like a very strong move to me, forcing that rook away to a bad square. And in the long run, there's this problem on the diagonal also towards Black's king. So maybe White can now bring the queen out, which he has done. Bishop g6. See, what's going to happen
yeah,
today, Mike, is that I'm going to find all the moves. I'm going to spot every single tactic. I'm gonna make myself look good today. Do we think that might happen?
yeah. I think that's the idea. That's the plan.
Yeah,
It's a lot easier when you're just watching and you don't actually have to.
just a day late. Just a
Yeah,
day late. Oh, look at this though. This is slaughter now, isn't it? The queen is sneaking its way
oof.
in, and this rook can also come round to attack the black king as well. So it's looking very bad now for Lawrence. Kind of like very smooth game from Ilyanov, and we are going to get the names of the players up. You have to bear with us a little bit while we just get that fixed.
Yeah.
But
So this looks like this is
scary.
definitely not the type of position that Lawrence is going to be very dangerous in. I think.
No, or maybe anyone. You
Mm.
know, I mean, it's still. I mean, White's still got to finish this one off. I mean, if Black can get his king back towards here, I mean, if Black can swap queens off, Black's probably better, but he's a long way from doing that. So White's got to continue this attack somehow. I mean, moving the rook around makes a lot of sense to me, but maybe it doesn't actually do anything. So I'm not sure. Do we try to divert the queen away from g6 so we can bring our bishop into that square? That's another idea. Maybe something like f4 or h4 here. Those two moves look quite tempting, but
Yeah.
there's still a bit of work to do here, right?
Yeah. This still looks kind of not clear how he forces a win here. It
No, I'm
doesn't
not
seem
sure.
like there is something there.
No, I mean, let's say you play um, f4, for example, and
Hmm?
then the queen can't take that one because there'd be a horrible rook to f1. I guess I can move the pieces, can't I? Look, I can even look at that. I can even move them. So if the queen took, then rook f1 would be the end of the game. But after f4, maybe the white queen can just sort of come here and keep everything under control. And that move hasn't really seemed to help too much. So does it make more sense to play? It's always a good move, h4. It doesn't matter what position you play it in. Move one, move two, move 50. This is
Yeah,
something.
we noticed a lot of that yesterday. I don't know if you maybe it wasn't in all of your games, but there was a lot of people playing H4 at the earliest opportunity.
Did anyone play it on move one?
I don't think so, but I think Magnus played it on move two more than once
On move
against
two, right?
very different openings. I think he played H4 against the Sicilian, H4 against the Caro-Kann,
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
and some D4 stuff as well.
Yeah. So Magnus actually played quite normally against me, even though I had a horrible tournament. Does that mean he respects me, do you think?
I think so. He actually played a lot of pretty normal openings yesterday. I was very
Yeah.
surprised.
I thought he'd
I
be
mean, he
doing
played some silly stuff as well, which makes
yeah.
sense. But
What did he do against, is it Rafe? That's why, because
against Ralph, he played like G3.
G3. Oh, so he mouse slipped basically. he, he
Yeah.
meant to go one G4, but his mouse let him down in that one. So
Yeah, no, that was quite a normal game, and I think Magnus played pretty well in that one.
yeah. Well, he was definitely a super sub. It was good. I thought it was a bit disappointing that we didn't actually see David Howe playing, because I'm still waiting to see David Howe play in one of these big events, because I know how good David is. I mean, he's so good at blitz. So I mean, I know Magnus is quite a good substitution, but I'm going to be honest. I prefer David Howe to play personally.
Yeah, I did really want David to play, and we kind of, yeah, we were in discussions about whether he could find a solution for his internet problems up until kind of the last minute, and eventually it was just like, no, but I have a decent replacement. I hope you'll accept him. And I thought, okay, well, I couldn't really say no to Magnus.
You have to kind of let Magnus play, don't you? Unfortunately, so. Well, it was good. It was great to play against Magnus, obviously, and great to have him in the tournament. Back to the game now. It does seem like Trent's position has improved quite drastically here. I mean, I mentioned earlier that if the queens come off the board, it is black even worse now, because you look at the pawn structure and yeah, white's got this one idea of playing f5. But apart from that, if you look at the double pawns, the pawns over here, and a nice move from Lawrence, I think. His bishop is now coming out. I'm actually starting to think that Lawrence might have an okay position here.
Yeah, this does look like a very impressive defensive game from Lawrence, and he seems to be holding things together.
Yeah, and look at the time as well. One thing I know about Lawrence is he's a great attacker. He's very thing with Lawrence. A lot of people think they do joke about him because obviously he's very light-hearted, but he's a bloody good player and really underestimated. And he's very, very quick. And let's remember, there's no increment, so keep an eye on the time. This position could now go either way, because black's got this queen side idea of just queening the pawn. White's got a big decision to make here. Okay, he takes with the pawn. And I still don't know who's better. I mean, let's avoid the valuation bar, but look at this move, A4. This is really hard to meet. Black's got a very simple plan. This is scary stuff. Is black winning?
Oops.
Oh, he's just won the rook.
Oh, wow.
Lawrence has won a game.
That's it. Wow. Lawrence Trent in the lead.
Well, he's already done better than me. So Lawrence has already improved on me yesterday by winning a game. So good work, Lawrence. That was great defensive stuff. Very impressive.
For everyone who's watching that didn't watch yesterday, we obviously can't cover all the games. There's 8 blitz games at once. We're gonna jump around a little bit, but there are some other results. Grachev beat Shevchenko with black, and Maxime Lagarde beat Salem Saleh with black as well. And also Sam Sevian beat Shreyas Royal. So Shreyas Royal is the youngest international master in England. Do you know him?
I don't know him so well, actually. I mean, I'm actually a bit of a grandfather compared to him. I mean, he's so young. I've never played him in a tournament, but Shreyas, I know he's on course to become Britain's youngest ever grandmaster, and he's an incredibly talented player. So it's great that you got him in this tournament. Definitely.
Yeah, I thought it would be very interesting to see how he does. Obviously, Sam Sevian's a 2700 player, and he had the white pieces, so that kind of makes sense. But we'll see how he does against the other games.
Look at the time here. This is going to come down to the clock. It doesn't really matter what moves they play, does it?
No,
I say that, but it does, because it's checkmate on the board as soon as I said that. So obviously.
Okay, so that is all the games finished. Fressinet won with black as well.
Okay, good stuff.
Corey won with white, and okay, so the remaining game is Esipenko against Mohamed Muradli. Esipenko is going to be late. It's a little bit of a problem.
Okay, I'm just going to open up another screen for me, so bear in mind. I'm afraid I'm just changing things slightly so I can see what's happening with the names. Okay, so yeah, Esipenko is turning up a bit late for the game, right? So
yeah, so he's still playing Bundesliga. Unfortunately, there was we didn't realize. Well, I didn't realize that there was going to be a clash there. So he's still playing the classical game, and once he finishes, he's going to rush over here and try and play the rest of the tournament.
Don't you think he should get his priorities right there, MrDodgy? I mean, and you know,
Okay, sorry.
sure.
We're going to have a quick break while we fix some technical problems. Okay, hello everybody. We're back again. Hopefully there'll be no more technical problems, and I'm not exactly sure when the next round's going to start, but I know which game we're going to watch. We're going to watch Lawrence against. We have to watch Lawrence against Laurent.
I think we have to keep. We have to keep watching Lawrence.
We can't watch every Lawrence game as much as we want to. Like there is a desire to that. I think we need to watch this one though.
I think we have to keep watching Lawrence until he stops winning, right? I mean, I think that's fair, isn't it? As soon as he stops winning, we can watch someone else. But
yeah, that's reasonable. And it
probably that's reasonable.
Maybe, possibly, won't take that long.
Well, this is going to be a close match, right? I mean, like Lawrence versus Lauren Fressinet. Do you think they have any history, these two?
I think they might have played 1 or 2 games against each other in the past.
Yeah. Okay, Lawrence with his favorite move, knight c3. And
from his chessable course.
G4. Oh, come on, you nutter. I love it. I love it. This is like the delayed grob, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a move. What a move G4 is. I've never seen that idea before. But Lauren is basically saying, I'm not taking any of your pawns, Lawrence. I'm just going to play sensible, normal chess. And it's probably what to do against Lawrence, right? Don't let Lawrence have the fun,
Yeah, but that's what Elianov tried as well, and Lawrence found some fun.
He did. He defended so well. I mean, Lawrence is very good on the clock here. I mean, looking at the position, I have to say, the opening has gone Black's way, right? I mean, he's got the 2 bishops. He's got the better pawn structure. It's still roughly in the balance here, but I mean, Lauren is a very solid player, right? So he's going to be quite happy here with Black, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, I think Laurent will be pretty happy here. But also, like, where does the white king go?
Do we need to worry about the white king?
Does it stay in the center?
Oh, look at the pawn structure. That is just I think you have to put the king on G2, right? This is the only square for it. But I really like what Black's done here by now opening up the center of the board. And Lawrence is trying to keep it all solid there with bishop e3. But Black has no weaknesses, and we can see the king. Well, okay, it's going to try to find some safety on this square. It's not that bad for white, is it? It's not that bad. 2 bishops.
Yeah, I don't know about e takes d4. That seemed a bit strange.
A little bit strange. Black's knight is going to be very good coming to this square. at the right moment. And I'm not still sure what White's plan is. I mean, you know, H4 is the kind of thing you could try to do, but H4, H5, but I don't know if it does a great deal here. But saying that, I mean, you know, this is I think better than it was for White, this position. If he can get his, maybe moves his bishop back now, make some exchanges.
Yeah, this looks
Looks okay. Looks all right. It's better than his last position in the last game, right? I feel.
Yeah, so he should win comfortably.
Oh, easily. Easily. Yeah. Have you ever played Lawrence?
I think we played a couple of games. I think I won once and lost the other.
Okay. Is that online, or have you ever played?
Yeah, just online blitz. We've never played in person.
Okay.
You must have played him a bunch.
I played him, like, you know, when he was a very small child, up to, yeah, I don't know, probably last time was about 5 years ago. Obviously, both being, you know, from England, and he knows his stuff. He's one of those guys who, well, it's amazing how much he does know actually about openings and certain things. So he's obviously done a lot of work, and I think, as we can see from his boxing videos, he puts a lot of effort into everything he does, right? So he's a serious guy.
Yeah, for sure. He does have the reputation that he's not very serious, but I think he is pretty serious. And I think, yeah, you can see from the boxing videos that he does know he can train very hard. I'm disappointed that he seems to have got distracted from his Grandmaster title quest that he announced, but
yeah,
maybe he'll go back to that after the chess boxing.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to do the chess boxing. Hopefully, he will, you know, come back to the, like you say, the search for the Grandmaster title. I think it was quite hard with COVID when he was sort of aiming to give it a go and stuff, to find the right tournaments. I mean, back to the position now. It seems like Lauren has just played very sensible chess, and, you know, Lawrence's bishop is a pretty terrible piece. It's not doing anything. On the other hand, Black's knight has a lot of potential here. Can't really get moved away. Got lots of squares it can maybe jump into. But the real problem here is White's king.
Wait, what's... Oh, he's missed the fork.
Oh, dear. And they both missed the fork. Knight A3 was a move, right? Maybe he likes his knight too much and he didn't want to win the rook for it. He's enjoying that knight a little bit too much. Do you think? Or maybe he just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I think he didn't see it, right? So probably more likely. But it still looks really horrible for White. I mean, like, I just see moves like the black queen coming in, the black rook coming in. And this is one of those positions where you'd love to move these pawns back in front of your king. You know, it's that famous expression about the Dutch defense, you know, when you play F5 and move one. And it was Yusupov who said, well, the best move in the middle game often is in the Dutch is playing F5 back to F7, because it just weakens your position so much. And you can see that these pawns are real issues here.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough.
It's going to be very tough. I mean, okay, he's trying to create some play on the queen side, but it looks very slow to me. It looks very slow. And they do. I mean, these guys on Twitter. I mean, I don't really follow much of the other social media, but on Twitter, they're always having a bit of a joke with each other, aren't they? So I think this is a game that, you know, especially being Magnus Carlsen's second, Lauren Fressinet, he doesn't want to lose this and get abuse off Lawrence for the rest of his life.
It's a very important game. I mean, the last time Lawrence beat Peter Svidler in the game, they had to make a video about it, and it was used as an ad for about 7 years. So.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that one. I have to see that game.
You've never seen the famous
no,
Lawrence?
So.
No, Lawrence, that's not how chess works.
I haven't.
And then Peter says, oh, wait, maybe it does.
No, I've never seen that. I'm going to have to see that. Is that on YouTube?
I think it must be. We'll have to dig out somewhere.
Dig out. Okay. All right. Well done to Lauren. Let's just show the first couple of moves here. G4 was Trent's idea, but Black didn't want to have any fun and take that one, and things got a little bit bad. But very interesting opening idea. Now, other games that are still going on.
So Laurent is the first player to make it to 2 out of 2, but most of the games are still going at the moment.
Still going. Sherez actually lost to Svidler. And this looks like quite an interesting position to me. This one between again Ilyanov, who lost to Lawrence in the first round, against Sam Sevion. You'd imagine two of the stronger. Well, I say that everyone's strong in this tournament, incredibly strong. But Sam Sevion's a great blitz player, isn't he? Really strong.
Yeah.
What is happening here?
I don't even know what the material balance is here.
Don't ask me. Okay, well, I've counted the bishops, and it seems like black has one more bishop, right?
Mm-hmm.
But does white have any compensation with these guys? I assume not a great deal, because it might also be black that's kind of attacking white in this position, potentially.
Yeah, and this bishop on g5 is on pre.
It's on pre.
Maybe it's not. Maybe giving up the d6 square is too much.
Yeah.
You take the bishop d6 and then maybe bad things happen.
Yeah, we can show that. So if you grab this one, d6 is what white's trying to do, trying to cause some mayhem like that. So black has many ideas. Though, only like bishop takes h3, knight takes h3. You know, this kind of move. It's okay. He took it with
on
a
the
knight.
Board now. Knight takes h3 was played.
Yeah, so let's just show that. So he did take with a knight, and the point now is that it's still very tactical. This, I mean, look at the evaluation bar. I mean, in these blitz games, evaluation bar goes backwards and forwards all the time. But this queen h7 looks like a very clever move from Ilyanov, and I had no idea what's happening still here. No idea at all. King h1 looks sensible, but the computer says it's a mistake. The queen's just come and block those pawns again. Maybe rook g1 or something. It still looks very scary for black, this.
Yeah, probably queen takes d5 though.
Ah, yeah. Taking a pawn with check. That is a good idea. Yeah, you can play it now. You can take the rook off first. Are you happy with the players you've got for this tournament, being the tournament director?
Yeah, I've been very happy this year. There's some unfortunate clashes with Bundesliga, which Esipenko's playing in, and also with Tata Steel India, which starts in a couple of days. So some people weren't able to play, but I'm very happy with the player list I've got. I think these 32 players are incredible.
Is there any player that is not playing that you'd really like to get? You know, that you weren't able to get?
I did really want to get Anish Giri.
What happened? I heard that people were boycotting the tournament.
He said he was too busy, and then people are boycotting me, which, it's not my fault. I invited him. I feel like I'm getting unnecessarily blamed. Oops.
Look at this. Okay, well, he's got 5 seconds left. He's going to flag him, and now he's queening as well. Oh, my words. This is oh, come on. That's 2 seconds. Can he do it? Can he do it?
Grab the pawns? Whoa.
He did it with 1 second.
That was incredible. Wow.
Wow.
That is definitely an early contender for swindle of the tournament, I think.
Definitely. 1 second on the clock there from Pavel. Wow. I mean, sorry, that was intense, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So hang on, let's go back to the Anish story. So you basically, I saw this on Twitter that you I didn't realize you invited Anish. So you invited Anish to play. Anish decided not to play. And then Anish's posse, and it does remind me a bit of the Wild West, because he's got tens of thousands of followers who will probably die for him. And his posse of followers are now boycotting you. And
I think there's only 2 of them, to be honest, that I've noticed. So I think I'm okay with losing those 2. I suspect they're probably watching anyway, because why wouldn't
okay. Right.
But we'll see. Like, Anish might join the broadcast at some point. He asked me for the Zoom link. Okay. He has the Zoom link.
So he's too busy to play, but he might commentate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would commentate for the whole event, so it probably will take up less time.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if he turns up. And I'm just keeping a little look now on their, obviously, Chess24 chat as well. So hello to everyone who's watching over on Chess24. And someone also mentioned that, Morozevich would be a very interesting player. to have playing this. And
I did actually speak to Morozevic, not for this event, but for the previous one. But he's not a big fan of like these online events
okay,
for cash prizes.
right.
You know, there is a bit of cheating involved in some of these events. I'm not too worried about cheating in this one, but
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's been some rumors of people cheating online, hasn't there, in the past? I hear.
yeah, unfortunately, it is one of the problems with internet chess. So I
Yeah,
understand, and I understand why it would be incredibly frustrating for people
yeah,
at that level to
yeah,
face it. So
yeah. I'm thinking about putting in my getting Better Call Saul. I think someone else got using him as a lawyer um, against the players I played yesterday because I'm pretty sure all 15 of them were cheating against me. And I'm
yeah, all
thinking,
15 of that, yeah, that all accusing all those 15 players of cheating, that's definitely
I thought I'd just
could
do a
go well for you.
couple of million for each of them, maybe. Like
Mhm.
I reckon 2 million. I'll try to get 2 million off each of them. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Yeah, I think that would be fair. That'd be fair.
Yeah. It's funny that no one's ever accused me of cheating in these events, don't you think?
Yeah, I feel like I used to get accused of cheating a lot more in the past, and it seems to have gone
Yeah.
down a lot, which it's not a great sign.
No, no one's ever accused me of cheating, and I think you need to win a game first to to get accused, don't you? Is that how it works? I think
Maybe
I
you did
believe
get some draws yesterday, though. You got a few draws.
I got a few draws. It was really bad. I was getting some great positions, and everything was going wrong. But let's not go there. Let's not ruin my night. I did that to myself yesterday. So let's concentrate on the games in hand. And we have now round three. We have Svidler versus Ilyanov, and we haven't looked at any of Svidler's games yet,
No,
have
so
we?
Svidler's on 1.5 out of 2. He drew with Andrew Tang and beat Shrez.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has played in all 3 editions. I think in this group it's only him and Laurent that are
Yeah.
the old players. A lot of new faces this year.
Yeah. Yeah, you got really, I mean, it's such an impressive lineup. And again, well done for getting so many guys playing. I mean, have you ever thought about having this like not online, but in somewhere like a crypt or something?
I think in a crypt would
Potentially.
be a good idea, but yeah, we did consider doing it this year. We just as an over the board tournament, but we just there was too much on, and
Yeah.
to be honest, I decided to go to India for 3 weeks instead, which
Sounds all right. Yeah.
wasn't a terrible decision, to be
No,
honest.
no. I mean, it's very hard to get chess players in one place, right, at once, isn't it? Really, really not so easy when with the traveling, and it costs a lot more. So just to get them playing online, it's easier. But I think you should try to get them in a crypt in future, or somewhere weird,
Yeah,
some
do you
weird
know
venue.
any crypts where we could organize some
And
kind of chess tournament?
so I have a couple in mind. And
A couple.
the weird thing, the weird thing is, Mike, and I haven't replied to this chat yet, but the day after this Ginger Jam event in the crypt that I organised, I got an email from someone saying I'm the I own a crypt in St John's Wood, London. Do you want to use our crypt for the next one? So the crypts are fighting over who they want to get
Nice.
in.
Crypt Wars.
Crypt wars. That's right. So I have to reply to that person, but it's quite cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. And if
No,
you don't know,
I thought your Ginger Gem Blitz tournament in the crypt was fantastic. I was lucky enough to play this year, and Peter Svidler was also actually there, which was a very strange experience seeing Peter in a meerkat costume playing Blitz and destroying everyone, which it was a good weekend.
yeah, it was a great weekend. I mean, I did this. People don't know what we're talking about. I did this event for Ginger Gym, company I run, and it was in a crypt in London, and it was in fancy dress, and there was a bar there, and there was even absinthe pourers at some of the tables. So it was really bizarre. And like you say, Peter Svidler turning up in a meerkat costume must have been one of the highlights, certainly.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not too keen on his position here. I mean, Peter's a fantastic player, as we all know, but keeping your pieces. Okay, well, look at that. He's now edging his way forwards with this move, and if he can break with the other pawn and the rook lining up, maybe this is all right for white. So it's still, I guess, pretty early. He's spending a lot of time though. There's no increment at all. That's what people have got to remember when they're watching this. It's all basically, guillotine, I suppose you call it now.
Yep. How did you feel about the no increment? Because it's not very common nowadays. Like almost all chess seems to be played with increments.
I mean, I'm really slow. I mean, I can't move a mouse. I'm reasonably quick, weirdly enough, over a board. But when I've got a mouse, I'm so slow. But I still loved it. I think it's so much more exciting not to have an increment, because nearly all tournaments nowadays they have an increment, and it kind of, I think you lose a lot of the excitement. I like it when you can try to hustle the person on time. I mean, at the end of the day, blitz chess is a bit of a hustle anyway, isn't it? So I thought it was a good idea. I approve, even though it didn't help me at all. I approve.
Yeah, I've always liked 5+0 online. I've never been very good at 3+0. It's a bit quick for me, but 5+0 online's always been my favorite time control. But I didn't choose it for this. It was Jan Gustafsson for the initial one, and he wanted to see people get flagged. That was his main reason, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
So this game has changed dramatically.
Again, I've no idea what's going on here. It seems like black should be doing quite well. I think in positions like this, especially when you're playing blitz, you look at who's got the weaker king. I mean, materially, it's actually, I think, equal. It's balanced. You've got the queen for the two rooks, but looking at the king, the black king looks a bit scary, but I think it's quite well defended there, because the knight always defends g7, and that's the only square white might try to checkmate on. On the other hand, the white king, it's always a little bit loose on this second rank. If somehow black can, there we go, try to get in on the second rank here. So which he has done. He's trying to bring his rook down, and Peter's now defended that one. So the bishop comes in, another piece joining in. So I kind of like black's position, but it's again a complete mess. White's covering everything here. Maybe white can start kicking some of these pieces away as well, right?
Yeah, I guess if the king gets to some safety, then it becomes easier. But yeah, the king is very stuck where it is.
It is, yeah.
And now rook to e8 is a big threat.
Well, he might be able to play rook e8 here, and he has. He's played rook e8 in this position, and I was trying to work out what was going on if bishop takes knight here. So bishop takes knight, rook here, check, and everything comes off. Okay, he didn't do that, so very complicated. So he's blocking the rook coming down to e2, but Peter under a minute now. Under a minute in this position. And if you're watching the video live, you can see that Peter is talking as well, and he's actually giving a lecture at the same time, because he was supposed to be giving a lecture to 20 juniors, but it did clash with MrDodgy's tournament, and he decided to do both. So he's given a lecture on Kasparov's best rook endings and playing in this tournament. Did you know that, Mike?
No, I didn't know that. I think maybe it might not be entirely true, but it would be funny if he gave it a go. But no, Peter's actually streaming on his own channel at the moment.
Yeah.
Stealing our viewers.
And they've agreed to draw there, which is a little bit surprising, but because Pavel had a bit of a time advantage, and could have maybe tried playing on a little bit. But okay, I mean, I understand the decision. Peter's one of the top players in it, so draws a good solid result. And let's move straight into another game between and when I say Mike, I do mean MrDodgy. Should I just call you MrDodgy? I never know.
Yeah, that's fine. MrDodgy's fine.
MrDodgy, okay. MrDodgy.
What most people know me as online, so that's no problem.
Have I just given away your real name? Have I just?
No, it's been around for a while.
Okay, I haven't ruined the enigma.
No.
Okay. Now, looking at this, two great players here. Salem is a really talented and aggressive player, and well, Andrew Tang is I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to describe Andrew Tang's bullet skills. One of the quickest players ever, but it seems like Andrew has a very nice position here, being a rook up. There's no real danger to the king, and he has a time advantage. So the queens are coming off. This should be a win, and he has one now.
Yep. So he moves to 2.5 out of 3. Muradli is the one in the lead at the moment. It's 3 out of 3. I think that's all the games for this round over. So the standings are Muradli's on 2.5 out. Sorry, Muradli's on 3 out of 3. Fressinet and Tang are on 2.5 out of 3, and then there's a group of people on 2. Sabian, Iturizaga, Shevchenko, and Peter Svidler. And then Boris Grachev is on the 8th spot. So the 8th spot is where the cutoff is to qualify for the knockout. So that's where everybody should be trying to get. Yeah, but there's still a long way to go. Esipenko is on 0, but he does have a nice position in the Bundesliga. So we'll see how many games behind he is if he finishes his game. And he might still try and join.
Yeah, I mean, Esipenko is a great player. So it will be. Let's hope he's able to come join and catch up.
How much of a head start do you think he could give to this field? Because he is like, a real 2,700 plus player.
He's a real 2,700.
He's pretty young.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 15 rounds, isn't there, or something? So it's like maybe if he gave 5 games, he could still have a chance, potentially.
That sounds fair. Like, I think after 5, he's probably not the favorite to qualify.
I reckon. Which game do you want to look at now? Do you want to pick one? I've just put Lawrence's on, but we've looked at a lot of Lawrence's. So
let's look at let's follow Muradli because he's the leader. He's playing against Kirill Shevchenko. He's another very young player. I think Kirill's only 19.
Yeah.
No, he's 20 now. He's a young Ukrainian player and top 10 juniors.
I've seen. I'm aware more of Kirill's chess than Muradli. Do you say? I'm sorry if I can't pronounce the name right, but
Muradli, I think.
Muradli, sorry.
He's quite young as well, actually. He's only 19.
Only 19. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard. I mean, there's so many young players now who I'm afraid I need to catch up with because it's incredible just now, how many grandmasters are coming through. But Kirill, I've been really impressed with, especially his speed chess. He's an amazing blitz player.
Yeah, didn't he win quite a strong blitz tournament?
I think he did. Yeah, it rings a bell. I think
I don't remember what it was. So.
Same here. So yes, yeah, I'm with you on that one. I see there's quite a lot of chat now. Again, I'm looking now. People are now discussing chess boxing again, and they're wondering me versus Feingold. I mean, the Feingold thing was so long ago. Let's just leave, and I may be unfit, but maybe not that unfit. I'd have to be really unfit for that one. Bishop takes h6. So white has grabbed a pawn, but black has this beautiful knight in the center of the board. And he now plays a nice tactical idea because the knight on c3 is defending the bishop on e2. And obviously black's trying to divert that knight away so he can go knight takes e2. So it could get quite tactical now. Let's say you play knight takes d4. I think black would probably play queen takes here. And there could be some move like knight b5, something like this going on. And it's getting very murky. So let's go back. Well, okay, white has first played bishop takes g7. Not sure if this is going to make much of a difference. And now maybe knight b5 still. This seems like the only way to try. Okay, he's gone for the simple approach. And I would have thought here that it's actually pretty even, isn't it? Do we reckon, MrDodgy?
Yeah, this looks
fairly even, doesn't it?
If he wins it's going to win the pawn back. So There's nothing for black, I guess. Maybe something for white, though.
Yeah, I mean, white's got the rook to the 7th, and this bishop's actually now looking very good. So, white's doing a great job here. And white won every game so far?
Yeah, Muradli's won every game.
Muradli's won every game.
3 out of 3.
So this could put him on 4 points. I mean, there's no way now that white should lose this one. And at some point, I think white's going to pick up a pawn. Can he convert the ending? We'll have to see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, this one looks
I'm very tricky. Very quickly going to have a look at Peter's game, because apparently he dropped a bishop on move 7, but his opponent didn't see it. So let's just very quickly, sorry to go through this, but I whenever a grandmaster loses a piece, it gives me some satisfaction, because the amount of pieces that I can lose is incredible. So in this position, well, hang on a minute. Okay, Queen H5 check. Whoa, check. So Peter put his bishop on this square, and now Sam could have just gone queen over here, check, won that bishop, but he played this move, and the game has gone on. And we're trying to catch up that game a bit later, but I just wanted to show that even grandmasters drop pieces, and not just me. The amount of pieces I was dropping yesterday, oh my words.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in a lot of games yesterday, there was a lot of blundered pieces. I mean, there was a game, Dubov against Magnus, where the evaluation bar swung back and forth so many times. It was a very entertaining game, but I'm not sure you would see that kind of stuff in classical chess very often.
Well, that's the great thing about 5-minute and blitz chess in general, isn't it? I mean, you get lots of, it's the excitement of the blunders, the evaluation going backwards and forwards all the time. And it looks like Muradli should just win this game now. He's 2 pawns up in the ending, and as long as he doesn't do anything too stupid.
Then... Yeah, this one looks kind of over.
By the way, I don't know if we're allowed to talk. Well, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about any chessboard courses that you might be bringing out or anything, or is that tops?
That's still a bit secretive. But
okay, I'll shut up before anyone asks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Keep quiet, Simon. Okay. I'm so good at dropping people in it. Unintentionally.
Yeah, it's fine. Peter dropped me in it yesterday by trying to. I may have revealed Jan's secret location before the tournament, why he can't commentate today.
Right.
And then Peter was like, "Oh yeah, isn't he doing that?" And no, I wasn't going to let him repeat what I had accidentally blurted out. But yeah, Jan's. I think we can say now that Jan's playing Bundesliga, which is
okay.
At this point, it's not a huge secret,
right?
Because he is. The games are being broadcast live, so
yeah. So that's why Jan was not able to commentate, right? Bundesliga duties, yeah. And look at this Muradli. You can see on the camera there, he's pretty disgusted with his last move, but I think he should still be winning this one. But he played it. I don't know why he moved his bishop to d5. If we just go back there, you had this position. Couldn't you have just gone bishop e2 and just maybe won a pawn? Oh, no, bishop d7. It's not so clear. So actually now he's only 1 pawn up. Can he convert this one? I mean, rook d7 looks very tempting. Okay, why did he play that move? Another peculiar move. He can try to win this pawn here, but I would have thought that's a technical draw then. Because you're only 1 pawn up. So, for example, you go bishop a6, you take here. It's looking like black has good drawing chances all of a sudden in this position, to me. I would have thought.
Hi, sorry about that. I got disconnected for just a second.
That's all right.
My internet decided to vanish.
Swedish internet. I bet it's dark and cold where you are. MrDodgy, I mean, like, people might not know, but where are you in the world? You are in northern Sweden, is that right? Or
yeah, I'm in the north of Sweden near a town called Skellefteå. So I'm pretty far north. I think it got dark about 2 p.m. today.
Wow.
Which is we're getting to very much the darkest time of the year.
Yeah.
So on the darkest days we have about 3 hours of daylight where I am.
Wow.
It's not that nice, But I have a
No.
plan to deal with the darkness this year.
Okay.
And my plan is on the 11th of December, when the darkest week of the year begins, I'm going to go to Sitges and play chess
That
near
sounds like a
Barcelona.
perfect plan, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to leave the family at home, right?
Yeah, they prefer the cold and the darkness. They thought they didn't want to go out. They thought they like the snow.
They like the
So
snow.
I'm gonna go play chess, and Jan and Peter will be commentating, hopefully on my games, because I imagine I'll be on the live boards.
Of course you will. You'll be crushing the tournament, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there's only about 200 people higher rated than me, so it should be
no challenge.
pretty easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a great tournament, right? I mean, Sitges is incredibly strong, and it's a great way to avoid the cold in December. So if anyone's looking
Yeah,
for a good
that's what
tournament,
definitely attracted me to it. The nice weather, but also it seems like a very fun event. Like the games don't start till 4:30 every day, and there's activities on during the day. There's pizza making classes, and well,
awesome.
okay, there's beer tasting, which is probably what I'll be doing.
Beer tasting before the games.
Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
you can you go beer tasting at like noon, then have a nap in the afternoon, play your game.
Yeah,
It's the perfect chess tournament.
sounds good. It does. It actually sounds like a great chess tournament. So, and there we go. Muradli has won another game, and he's gone to 4 out of 4. So he is cruising, absolutely
Yep.
cruising in this one.
So yesterday, nobody made it to 4 out of 4. Magnus lost in round 4 to Kamil Plichta in a Trompowski, and yeah, no one else got there. So Muradli is just crushing everyone. Although Muradli did have a game with Esipenko in the first round, so that was it.
And we're hearing that Trent won again. I told you he's a dangerous player, is old Trent. And who did Lawrence just beat? Let's see. Yeah, or am I getting trolled here? No, he won. He won against Boris Gravchev. So well done, Lawrence. Lawrence has already got 2 wins under his belt. I said he's a dangerous blitz player, is Lawrence, especially online. So he got any chance to qualify?
So Lawrence beat Grachev, Paravian beat Fressinet, Lagarde and Iturizaga had quite a quick draw, I think. Muradli beat Shevchenko, Andrew Tang beat Corey, Shreyas lost to Salem, and Sebian beat Svidler. So yeah, we have the standings up now.
And look at that. If they stop the tournament now, Lawrence Trent will qualify.
Wow.
He will qualify for the knockout stage. Oh, my words.
Okay, so if he's in 7th place, let's just check who he would play. Because we might not get a chance to look at this again. So if it stays the same, he would play Daniel Dubov.
Daniel Dubov. Wow.
In a match.
That'd be a good match. I'd definitely tune into that.
Sounds like, yeah, a good match to me.
So
it might not stay the same.
It could change, but we never know. I don't rule Lawrence out. That's all I'm saying. Very dangerous player. He's very good at blitz. And okay, so we've been talking about Lawrence's big chess boxing fight and this big thing that's going to happen in America, which is quite exciting actually. I think it's anything that sort of adds a bit of circus, I think is quite cool to chess. Get some maybe sponsorship from outside. Who do we think is possibly could be the best? I'm going to put it on Svidler, by the way, Trent. I'm just going to have to leave it on this for a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, we have to watch this one.
I think we have to watch this one. Who do we think? And this is the question to anyone watching as well. Could be the best chess boxers in the world. Let's go at any weight. Who do we think are real?
Well, we actually discussed this yesterday.
Oh, did you? Okay.
But I limited it to like kind of top grandmasters.
Yeah.
And we came to the conclusion that probably is just still Magnus. Out of the top guys, I think it would be hard to. We couldn't think of a grandmaster that would maybe beat Magnus at chess boxing.
Really?
Who would you take?
he's very fit, isn't he? Magnus is
Mm.
incredibly fit. You can,
And I heard he's quite good at chess as well.
yeah, he's not bad, is he? He's not bad. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to actually think of anyone who could actually take Magnus. I mean, okay, so we have a suggestion, Greg Shahard. You know,
Nah,
Greg.
he's got his muscles are too big.
That's a
He'd
good
be too
point.
slow.
It's a good point.
He's not going to have the footwork that
It's true.
Magnus or
Boxers,
Lawrence Trent would have.
that's true. It doesn't help to be muscly, too muscly in boxing. That's for sure. To punch.
Mm. Maurice Ashley is maybe a bit.
Yeah.
He's surprisingly. He looks a lot younger than I think he actually is. I think he's like 53 or something.
Oh wow!
But he is in pretty good shape.
He's
and
in
I
very
think
good
he's
shape.
a jiu-jitsu guy or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think you're allowed to. I think amateur boxing you have to give up when you're 40 in England or something. After that age, you're not actually allowed to fight. But obviously, chess boxing is a little bit different. But the age does have some difference. Someone's saying that Jabava's dancing moves, if he translates them to boxing, he has great potential. Dude, what do we think about that? Maybe
I could definitely see him having good footwork.
Yeah,
he's going to be light on his feet.
Oh, there is James Canty, but again, he's quite muscly. He's a very, very fit guy, and he could be quite scary, I have to say. But I don't know if he does any boxing. And Dubov, have you seen that video with Dubov's doing all those I don't know, gymnastics? That's an incredible video, absolutely incredible.
He's pretty jacked.
He is, and you wouldn't really imagine that by potentially looking at him. So yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know if that means he could punch. I don't know. Maybe.
I reckon he could be good. Who would we like to see? Which two people would we like to see the most?
Karyakin against anyone?
Karyakin versus anyone. Yeah. Karyakin versus Klitschko. Oh, hello.
Yeah, that would be my ideal chess boxing match.
I think fight to the death even would be
Karyakin against both the Klitschkos would probably be the the absolute sweet spot for me, but
I'll go along with that. Yeah. Yeah. I'd actually like to see Hikaru versus Magnus Carlsen. Could be interesting.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good kind of grudge match for their big rivalry.
Yeah, could be interesting. Interesting to see. Okay, back to the chess, and we're watching this game between Svidler with the white pieces versus Lawrence, and I have to say one of the problems I had yesterday when I was playing with the black pieces is if I got a Dutch opening in, I was generally okay, but against the move E4, it's really hard against these top guys because E4 is such a sharp move, and if your theory is not up to date, then you can get crushed very quickly. And this opening has gone pretty horrible for Lawrence. He's played his B6 stuff very early, but he hasn't even really done anything with that. And there's this major problem on the F file. This
does look very tough for Lawrence, but it's not that different from his position against Elyanov. This one does look a bit worse.
It's looking a bit worse, I feel, this one, because it's very hard to get any counterplay, isn't it, here? I don't know how Black manages to do anything. I mean, Black might try something like this to try and swing the knight in, but I'm not even sure that does much here. And it's just look at the dark square bishop, MrDodgy. It's so strong, isn't it? Incredibly strong.
And this, I guess, these kind of endgames are definitely a lot worse than in the Elyanov game because of this past e-pawn.
Yeah. I mean, I think White's got this very simple plan of just doing this. This is like a nasty plan, and he's going for it now. He's just going to try to get his rook, the white rook, to this square here. If he can get his rook to that square, it could be bad news. And here we go. He's threatening just to checkmate now, the rook coming in. Is there any way you can defend this? You probably have to play a move like c5, but after takes, I don't know what you do next. So this could be getting pretty terminal now for Black. I
guess the idea is like Queen D8 doesn't seem to work.
Well, he is. I mean, he can give up the queen. If we go rook f8 straight away, which is probably a winning move, right? Queen takes, but this looks even stronger. Just keep the threats alive. And I wouldn't be surprised if you start using the H pawn in a position like this. But okay, he's got everything going on now. Rook takes e6 is a major threat. You can play rook f8, winning the queen at any moment. And he has just decided to win the queen now, and that's the end. That was pretty grim. A very nice game from Peter there, Mr. Dodgy, and this Lawrence wasn't really able to get into it there at all.
No, that's a tough one for Lawrence, but yeah, he's got black against Peter. It's not the end of the world. He's on 2 out of 5. By the way, Lawrence's prediction to me before the tournament. Do you want to know what it was?
Yeah, I'd like to hear it. Look, shall I guess?
Well, he had 2 predictions.
You're not really allowed to have two, are you?
Well, it's Lawrence. You know, he goes up and down, back and forth, all around. Yeah. He started saying that he would probably only finish on 2.
Yeah.
But then he also predicted he would qualify for the next stage. So
okay, so they're pretty similar predictions, right? So one of them was like, 2 and the other. I think Lawrence has got a great chance of qualifying. I really do. If he plays his best chess and he's able to get out the opening, well, why not?
Yeah, I mean, he's beaten 2 pretty strong grandmasters in the first 5 rounds. Yeah. He's not had easy pairings. No. This group, I didn't, because there was so many players this year. We had 32 players to try and get into groups. I wasn't very strict with getting the groups equally matched. But there's only the average rating. There's only about 10 points difference. So this group, even though it doesn't have Magnus and Grischuk and Dubov, it is actually a lot stronger at the bottom end. So it kind of works out as roughly the same level in each group.
Yeah. And we're just having a look at the game with the leader as well at the moment, and we got Eduardo. Now was Spain, originally from Venezuela. Is that right? Am I thinking that right?
I think you're right, yeah.
Venezuela, yeah, and now moved over to Spain. And the position looks fairly even. I mean, maybe White's pieces are a bit more actively placed. So Black's trying to sort of swap off another pawn just to get pawns all on one side of the board. And if Black can draw this one, he'll be very happy, I think. Very happy. If you're wondering where Esipienko is, Esipienko is still playing Bundesliga, unfortunately. He
does still have a very nice position, but I'm keeping an eye on his game at the same time. But yeah, unfortunately, it's still going.
Probably not.
He played the start of the game very quickly, I noticed. So I think he was trying to, get out in time. But yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, he might be heading for a draw now. So he'll have missed the first 5 rounds. Maybe he misses 6.
It's going to be hard. I mean, if you miss the first 6 rounds, he could still qualify if he gets back to it. But I think it's going to be really tough now. Really tough.
Yeah. So the top 8 go through. So it should be roughly 50%. Will kind of get you close.
Yeah.
So he needs about 7.5 out of.
Whoa! Queen takes f3 check. Would he spot it? He's missed it. Oh, does this work as well?
Yeah, now Queen f3.
Queen f3. Or you taking? Oh, wow! What a turn! That was incredible. Oof, look at the. I mean, let's just show that. That was, when things are going your way, yeah. I mean, look, this position, you're a piece and a pawn up. Oh my words! And he goes for e4, absolutely fine. And now he should really stop h3. He should just play a move like h3, because you don't want to get your king trapped right on the back rank. And he played his next move very quickly. I think he played king play here. He played let's have a look. He played queen e3, trying to swap the queens off. But after h3, he has to bring his king this way around, because there's a trap in the corner. Well, for a start, Queen F3 would have been immediate checkmate here because of the back rank. You can take here and come straight in, checkmate next move. But you can also do the tactic the other way around, which is what he did. He can go check. And obviously, if you take the rook, the queen comes in. And after this one, well, there's two ways to checkmate. Black went for this one, and then the queen coming in. All these tactics can be interchangeable. And I think, as MrDodgy also pointed out, you can actually play this very flash move as well. So that was, I mean, when you're leading the tournament and you get a stroke of luck like that, it's kind of got to be your day, right? It's got to be your day.
Yeah, that's what you always need a bit of luck, I think, to win a tournament. But obviously, he's playing very well in the other games, so you just need a little bit of good fortune. But Andrew Tang's also on 4.5 out of 5.
Right.
He's only dropped a draw to Peter Svidler.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Because Andrew is kind of well known as a bullet player, but he's also a very strong blitz player as well. And
he's just a very strong player.
Yeah, I think so. I'm starting to think so.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically just really, really good. And okay, so I think that's all the games from that round. I'm just trying to find the scores quickly. I mean, the other scores. So we have the two leaders, as you say. Actually, is the player who just won here, is he on 5 out of 5? Has he won every game?
Yeah, Muradli's on 5 out of 5 now.
Muradli's on 5 out of 5. Okay.
So yeah, there's the standard. So Muradli's on 5 out of 5. Andrew Tang is on 4.5. Sam Sevian's on 4. Fressinet and Eliano 3.5. Peter Svidler's on 3. Turizaga is on 2.5, and David Paravian is on 2. David Paravian is actually a very strong blitz player as well. He qualified for the Speed Chess Championship, which is really not easy to qualify for. I think it was him and Grischuk that went through the qualifiers. Maybe I'm not sure if there was more than 2 qualifiers, but yeah, there was a lot of very strong players that didn't get through. So
yeah. And I have to say, another player I'm very surprised about at the moment is Salim Salah. I mean, because Salim is in the chess.com Title Tuesday events. He's won those events before. I'm pretty sure about, and he's an incredible blitz player. So a little bit surprised there. Okay, let's pick another game, and in the chat, please do tell us if there's a game you particularly want to look at. But until I'm going to try to find an interesting game. And
how about we go with Muradli against Fressinet?
Okay, let's do that. Yeah. So the game has started off with a pretty tame kind of English opening, but now Muradli is playing a little bit more aggressively with this E4 move. Can he keep his 100% up? How did Muradli, did he qualify online or did he get an invite?
Muradli came second in one of the qualifiers that we held on Lichess.
Okay.
I think he came second to Andrew Tang, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So the 4 people who qualified were Andrew, Muradli, Paravian, and Grachev.
Okay. And this game starting again very solidly with one thing about Fressinet. I mean, what do you think of his style of chess, MrDodgy?
I think he plays more boring chess than he wants to. I think he has a desire to play more interesting stuff, but he likes his Berlins, he likes his solid.
But if you've got a desire to play something more interesting, why don't you play something more interesting? It's not that hard.
Because he's in the Chicken Chess Club. He doesn't want to lose.
He doesn't want to lose. Okay. But also, I mean, I'm. It's a good way to play chess, right? It's a really good way to play chess. And look at this tactic here. Muradli is so sharp. I mean, this E5. Let's just go back. It looked like a really nice idea from Lauren, because your knight's coming into this square. But after the knight does come in, and this is like a family fork. There's this incredible move, Bishop C7. I mean, this is really sharp stuff. And the point is, if the queen takes the bishop, we have knight D5. Or do we know because the queen takes here?
No,
Sorry,
I think we just
take the
take on
knight.
d3. Yeah,
We just take the knight. Yeah, of course we do.
He's
Yeah,
grabbed the pawn.
yeah. And is there anything else? And if the queen goes anywhere else, like d7 or here, then you're not actually threatening to move the knight, are you? So that's the
No,
point.
knight d5 is something.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. There are more moves on the board. And did he take it? Okay, he did decide that he had to take it. But now white plays another tactic, just opening this one up, and white is just a pawn up with a very good position. So it could be going to 6 out of 6, right? But
Yeah, this does look like it.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I was going to say about Lauren's chess. I mean, his chess to me seems just really, it's really principled. You know, he plays just very good openings, which are never going to get him in too much trouble. And that's what he's played most of his life. So too late to change now. Too late to change his openings.
Yeah, but he's very, very strong at fast games. I think maybe his classical ratings come down because he used to be like a 27, 30 player. His classical ratings dropped a bit, but recently in Blitz and Rapid, he's still pretty much a top player. He just won the gold medal at the World Team Championships, the individual medal on his board.
Very nice.
I think he's French Rapid champion at the moment, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Maybe Blitz, I don't remember.
No, he's certainly a good player.
He's doing well. And he's still, even if he loses this one, he'll be still in the qualifying spots. But yeah, who's going to stop Muradli? He seems like the Magnus of this tournament.
I mean, he's doing more than Magnus. He's not dropping anything. I mean, look at this another beautiful tactic here. You know, I just got to show this again. I mean, b4, and then if you move the bishop, there's a knight d5, probably very scary at least. Queen d6 looks like a lovely counter idea because if you swap the queens off, black's in the game. But then there's knight d5, and you're giving up the pawn on b4. But another little tactic on top of this is now you just distract all the black's pieces with e5, and the queen can't hold the bishop anymore. And there's just, you're just losing a piece. He's incredible tactics from Muradli.
Yeah, and that's the end of the game. Well, so maybe we should look at.
Well, this one's interesting. Sherez's position is okay. It's looking like black's just doing really well against Kirill. I mean, the white king is incredibly weak at the moment, right? So, and you know, if there's another game, do shout. This is looking quite interesting at the time. Is there any way white can defend this? Because white does have the extra exchange. I don't feel he can. I mean, you got 4 pieces now attacking. Should be too many pieces, I think. Any way that white can defend.
Yeah, queen takes h4 is very scary.
Very scary. Just queen h1 is the main threat. And
no, this one doesn't look like. Maybe we could look at Serbien against Salim.
Okay. Right, here we go. So Salem is having a tough tournament so far. Kind of equal material here. Is black going to succeed with his main asset here, which is his H pawn? He's just got to throw that down the board. Or is white going to succeed with his D pawn and his? I reckon his knights are a bit more scary than black's bishops at the moment. I'm surprised the computer says this is so much better for white. I don't understand that move. That seems really passive. I mean, if I was black here, I'd just push this pawn. You've got to just try to throw it down the board.
Yeah, once you get the pawn to h2, then
you
can pretend that you're going to win.
Yeah, at least it's scary, isn't it? You get it there. You've always got some threats, right? I mean, unfortunately, I think he's going to drop this pawn. And once he drops that pawn, he hasn't got anything. And there's a couple of ways to probably win here. And this is the most simplest way where you're just going to now have a lovely choice, taking either one of those, which both look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's over. Should be over.
So 7.
So
Yeah, he's on
it is over.
4 out of 5. 5 out of 6.
So I guess at the end of this round, I'm losing track of the rounds. So we have 15 rounds in total. So we're not quite at the halfway mark.
No, this is round 6, but yeah, it doesn't. I don't know if Esipenko is taking a draw.
Is Sapienko still playing? Do you say you're not sure at the moment, or?
Well, it looks like he has played enough repetitions. No,
Okay.
he's not. He's got one more move to repeat for the 3rd time, but maybe they just agreed to draw. The DGT board hasn't registered it.
So this is
maybe he'll play the next round. This could be very exciting.
Well, if
to see if he gets enough points.
Starting in round 7, he's gonna have to win a lot of games.
Do you think Magnus could start after round 7?
Yeah,
still qualify.
Yeah, of course he could.
You would have. Yeah. I think that would be quite an interesting way to have a tournament.
That would be
like one person has to win every game, basically.
I reckon. I mean, Magnus is very capable of winning every game, isn't he? Or maybe there's the guy leading this tournament. Just throw him in the mix. He seems.
Yeah,
he seems like
Muradli can share some of his points with Esipenko. He's got plenty to spare. It's fine.
Oh yeah. By the way, do bear in mind, MrDodgy, that as we've been told, there's a 15-minute delay, so he might have drawn 15 minutes ago.
Oh, that's a good point.
So he could be ready to play in the next round. That'd be awesome. I really want to see Esipenko, who's been playing Bundesliga, turn up in round 7 or 15 and see if he can somehow qualify. Oof, could be exciting.
This would be even more exciting than Magnus playing yesterday.
Yeah, if he can start well, if he can get a couple of wins, on the board at the start, then.
So round 7, he's due to play. Let me see.
It's a bit unfair. I was going to say it's a bit unfair on some of his opponents. No.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but
it's unfortunate. Let's just, I know this. It's your tournament, your rules, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think more people should do this. If you set yourself up as the tournament dictator rather than the tournament organizer, you can get away with a lot.
I like that. Tournament dictator does sound like a much better, thing, because it doesn't matter. You can bend the rules. You can basically do what FIDE have probably done in the past and decide what you want to do, basically. Yeah. So.
Yep, that's the dream. That is the dream.
Yeah, I
wasn't too sure about how all of the players would feel about Magnus entering yesterday. How did you feel? Because it
was brilliant.
I wasn't able to give you much of warning. Like I think I told you guys an hour before because that's when I found out. But were you happy to see Magnus play?
Yeah, I was really, really happy to see Magnus play. I mean, the guy's the world champion. It's just nice to have a chance of playing a game of chess against him. I mean, most of these businessmen cost them like £5,000 a crack to have a go at the world champion. So I'm getting a chance to play him for free. I'll take it, And it's not like I'm going to do much preparation anyway. So it was good. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
It's not easy to prepare for Magnus anyway, I guess, because he kind of plays
everything.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. He plays everything. That's right. So
okay, so this one is over.
So I wonder if we got the scores as well now at some point, because we're round 7. 2 big questions going into round 7. Obviously the scores, but can Esipenko make it to the game? So he's probably finished his game. Is he on the camera yet? Can we see him on the camera? Esipenko doesn't seem to be on the camera. And he's finished his Bundesliga game. Can he make it in time for the next game? And do the almighty comeback starting with Lawrence? Or does Lawrence get a bye in this game?
This could be.
I kind of hope Lawrence gets a bye as well, because I'm still like Team Lawrence, and I want to see Lawrence qualify. He's got to start getting some wins on the board. He's in 12th place. is Lawrence, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm kind of in
Well,
two minds here.
yeah, I want Lawrence to get a bye here, but then I want Esipenko to win his last 8 games.
8 games. Yeah, that sounds like a perfect scenario to me as well. And I'm not biased at all, not biased commentary whatsoever.
No, we're very objective commentators here. We're
Yeah.
not actively rooting for
Yeah.
Lawrence and only Lawrence.
So who else do you want to see qualify? Peter?
Well, I think I'd like to see Peter qualify. He hasn't won this tournament the last 2 years, so
Okay.
this could be his year. There's no Anish Giri to get in his way.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Fressinet qualify, obviously.
Yeah.
Andrew Tang as well, actually, who lost his first game, but he's still in the spots. I'd like to see Shreyas get some points, although he got a draw with Corey, so that's a pretty good result.
Well, he's not in last place. Shrez as well. I mean, he's got more points than Salem. And as I know from playing yesterday, these tournaments are incredibly tough. And I find in Blitz a lot, it's if you get a run going, you know, if you're in a sort of the right mental state, you can win a lot of games on the road. But the same goes for losing games. I mean, normally when I play Blitz online, I either just start winning everything or I start losing everything. So it's quite important to get that sort of charge at some point.
Yeah, and I guess in this kind of field, it's hard to put together a streak when you win. You might have a couple of good games and then you play Gruschuk or you play Magnus or
it's hard to beat those guys, that's for sure. Okay, so no news on Esipienko yet. We're wondering if he's going to turn up in time for Lawrence, but some moves have started to come in. So we're looking at, we're just going to start this one because it's the only game that seems to have started so far. Eduardo versus the young, potentially most promising player from England, Sherez, who's now an IM and
I think he
got
has
one
one
Grandmaster
GM
on.
norm. Yeah,
he has. Yeah, he's got one Grandmaster on. So he could be Britain's youngest ever Grandmaster, certainly.
Who is the current youngest Grandmaster?
I think it's David Howe, but don't quote me on that. It could be like Luke McShane or it could be Mickey Adams, but I feel it's David Howe. I think David Howe.
David sounds right, I think.
Yeah. I think David is probably England or Britain's youngest ever Grandmaster. Okay, so this game, I mean, it all seems very sensible so far. Sherez learning and playing a very normal setup, but there's a bit of pressure here all of a sudden. With pressure against c6. And she can't really take this easily because of the D file. So a little bit of some tough problems to solve here. It's the kind of position where you really need to play c5. If you can play c5 as black, you're okay. But if you can't play c5, you've always got this problem with the pawn. So hence he's gone for the right idea, c5, but does it work tactically in this position? Question in the chat: did Ravi Harrier get the GM title recently? Yeah, Ravi's been a GM now for a year or so, I guess. But he's not. Well, he's young. He's certainly young, but he's not young. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, let's see when David got his title.
Yeah.
I think he was pretty young.
I think he was. Yeah, he certainly beat. He was the youngest player ever to beat a Grandmaster. I think he beat Colin McNabb or John Nunn.
He was the youngest to get the title at 16, which is pretty old 16. For nowadays. That's like a lot of people are retiring from chess at that age.
16.
Yeah.
It's still pretty young, isn't it? I mean, that you're still at school and you're a Grandmaster. That is pretty good going, especially in England where there's not so many chess tournaments and you don't get as many chances as other places. It's impressive. It's impressive. Have you got ambitions of becoming a grandmaster, international master? Yeah.
No, keep going, keep going. We'll get a little bit further down.
I was going to stop there. FIDE FIDE. Well, you should be a FIDE master, right?
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty tough for me to get there at my advanced age. I could probably get, I think, a candidate master title if I played a little bit more. But yeah, I still need.
I guess you just need to play, right? So.
Yeah, that's the first step, is playing more, and then the second step will be playing better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to play some chess next month at Seat Chess. Got 10 FIDE rated games, so we'll see how I do. That might be my last ever tournament.
Why would it be your last ever tournament?
Because I might do very badly. I haven't played a classical game since 2019.
That's a pretty defeatist attitude to already decide that this might be your last ever tournament. You haven't started yet, and you haven't played a tournament for how many years?
2019 was the last one.
Okay. Come on, don't say this is going to be your last one when you're not even there yet.
Well, no, I mean, we can go more positive, and we can say I haven't lost the classical games since 2017.
That's a better approach. Let's do that.
So I'm unbeaten for 5 years. Like, everyone talked about Magnus going 100 games unbeaten, which was over like, I don't know, a year and a half. But I've gone 5 years without losing. Where's my parade?
I think we should start something in honor of your non-losing streak. It makes a lot of sense.
We need to do it pretty quickly because it's about to end.
Yeah. Well, maybe you won't. Maybe you can just surprise everyone, including yourself.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I would go all. Yeah, I don't think I'll go through the tournament unbeaten, but maybe I can win some games. That'd be nice.
Get some good. Yeah, get the odd grandmaster under your belt would be cool, right?
Yeah, I've never beaten a grandmaster in a classical game, so that would be nice to.
That'd be good
to do for once. But
how does MrDodgy, or how would MrDodgy celebrate such an occasion as beating a grandmaster?
Well, there's a nice pool at the hotel in Seat Chess, so I would definitely jump in the pool if I win.
Would you do
one
Magnus
game against
Carlsen?
the GM? Yeah. He did it for becoming world champion, but like if I beat a GM, it's going to be the same thing.
The same
and
thing.
I think that would be a bigger achievement for me, to be honest.
You could beat a grandmaster. You've done these things before online. I know. So jumping
Blitz is a different story, but yeah.
So jumping in the pool with your clothes on. That's what people. Sure. This is what people have got to look forward to, right? When you beat a grandmaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's 100% that will happen if I beat a GM in Seat Chess. So you want to see that? You guys should come.
I think we need a video of this when it happens. I'm going to say when. I'm going to say when it happens. We need video evidence of this occurring.
Yeah, I mean there is going to be like 40 grandmasters there, so I should be able to get one drunk the day before.
So sometimes getting them drunk might help them, actually, knowing grandmasters. It depends. You've got to pick the right grandmaster, right?
Yeah, you've got to pick your targets, but
yeah.
We'll see. It should be. I think it'll be a fun tournament. I'll get to play some hopefully strong players. I think most of the players are better than me anyways, so it shouldn't be difficult to play someone better than me. But
yeah, sounds like a great tournament. So going back to this game, it looks like Shiraz has been struggling a little bit here, and well, he's unfortunately just blundered the bishop over on a3. But this is just the kind of tournament that, when you're a young player, even though it's an online event, it's great to get a chance to play these guys and to get some experience, even if it is just blitz. And we'll go to another encounter. Is our hero still on maximum points? Is he still winning every single game? I think he is. Blooming heck. Unbelievable. Let's go to, okay, let's see. I'll just try to find his game. So at the moment,
he is in trouble again, but he was in trouble in one of the games where he found that very nice checkmate.
Yeah. So he's on maximum points per player of the black pieces at the moment, but I'm seeing the computer says he's in serious trouble. But materialistically, why is he in so much trouble? I don't understand where the trouble is. It looks like a pretty
Yeah,
even position, and okay, you're threatening this pawn, but I can move my knight now. Let's say I move my knight. I don't know. Oh, he's taken here. Wow. And he's guarding this pawn. And he's got a very dangerous c pawn. This is getting very murky. Any results possible here, I feel. Any result.
yeah. This looks. That is a very interesting move to find.
It's gonna if he wins, if black wins this game, he's gonna get to 7 out of 7. That's quite incredible, right?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
Caruana territory.
bishop g7 is even stronger. Look at that. You don't even have to take the pawn.
Oh wow.
You can take the pawn, but if you just go bishop g7, you're going to win the piece back with 2 bishops in the ending. And well, you're probably just winning as black now. So I think he's going to go to 7 out of 7. Cool, blimey. And look at that. We had a flurry of moves there. Let's just show what happened. So he did go bishop g7. The only move that white can play here is to take on f7 at some point. And then we get this ending where it's 2 very strong bishops pointing towards white's weakened pawns. So more pawns come off the board. And the issue with this position, well, black is now got to play quite accurately. But the white king is a long way away from this pawn. So this pawn could start charging down the board. And I don't know, I mean, it's still got to win this. He's got this sort of bind on the white knight. The white knight can't move out. And black's winning idea is obviously to bring his king now. Well, over. So probably winning for black, I think.
Yeah, and the bishop's usually a lot better in these endings where there's pawns on either side of the board. So
yeah,
he's also up on the clock. Yeah, very impressive.
he's playing tremendously well. And it looks like Lawrence is going to win another game this round. Which is great news.
So Lawrence moves to 3 out of 7.
Come on, Lawrence. What was the qualifying score yesterday? Was it like basically just over 50% or something like that? Do we know?
Yeah, I think it was over 50%, but it was pretty close. I think maybe +1 gets you there.
+1, yeah. So Lawrence is not that far off at the moment. Okay, so
yeah, 8 out of 15 was the cut.
8 out of 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like black is now just winning. These 2 pawns can't be dealt with by the king and the knight on their own. Well, they shouldn't be able to be dealt with. This pawn is stopped by black's bishop, as long as the bishop is careful. So again, it's not totally straightforward, but the black king comes in now. The move's coming quick and fast, but this is going to be another win for the tournament leader. Just got to avoid losing his last pawn. There's no way you can get to that pawn. Oh, 1 second for white as well. So yeah, white losing on time. Yeah. Okay. Any more games going on this round?
That seems to be it.
Okay.
So Muradli's on 6. Turazaga is on 4.5. I think the standings have got a little bit messed up because of Esipenko.
Yeah.
Tang's on 6 out of 7. No, 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so we've got them here. Muradli, Sevian, Tang, Turazaga, Shevchenko, Corey, Fressinet, and I can't see the name at the bottom. You see the name at the bottom of that? Oh, Peter.
Oh, just in the qualifying
Svidler's in
group.
the qualifying spot. Wow, well done.
Just at the moment. So
Yeah.
looking at the scores there, I think an interesting game is Peter Svidler versus Corey, because they're due to play and they're both on 4 points. Should we stick with that one?
Yeah, that looks like a good one to follow.
Right. And I'm just going to take a little, like, 30-second break as well. So
Okay.
I'll leave you here for a sec.
Okay, so now that Simon has run away, we can do all the ads. Go to chess24.com. Click on the Black Friday stuff. That's it. There's also stuff for Chessable. I think the Chessable sale's still going on. We've got 60% off all the courses. That's it. That's all the ads. Let's look at chat now. Yeah, Ezebenko is not going to play the remaining games, unfortunately. It's a bit too late, and half of the players have already got a free point from him, so unfortunately, he will not be able to take part in the tournament. Which is fairer for everybody else, I guess. Unfortunate, but sensible. Yeah, it's a shame. Up to 60% off, not 60% off all courses. That's correct. Up to 60% off some of the courses, including Peter's courses. And also probably Simon's. Let me check before I tell lies. Good afternoon, Chris from Germany is watching the live stream. I do have a microwave. Thank you for asking. Simon, are your courses on 60% off on chessable.com?
Absolutely no idea.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
They are up. We can say they're up to 60% off, but they might not actually be 60% off. I think some of your courses are, from what I can tell. You have a lot of Chessable courses.
I've got loads of Chessable courses, and there must be one of them on some kind of discount somewhere. It's very likely you can find some of my courses on discount. I mean, the last one that's just been published was done by myself and Richard Palliser, who does a lot of the, shall we say, the hard analysis work. Really lucky to have him as someone to work with. It's on the Collie Zukertort system. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is a really nice opening to learn with 1d4. And I try to, obviously bring the videos to life and make them as easy to understand as possible. But that was the last one that we released anyway. Collie Zukertort. So just released.
Cool.
And they have now started their games as well. So we can see Svidler with white pieces against Corey. And just looking at the tournament scores, this is a very important game for this round because both of these players are just in the qualifying group at the moment. So a win for either side here will put them in a little bit of a safe position going into the next one. Typical kind of English opening with the B pawn rolling up the board. White going for a space advantage over there. Have played the English, MrDodgy?
I've played a little bit of the English, but not a massive amount.
What's your most favorite opening? Do you have one?
I like the Budapest for black. That's definitely my favorite.
Okay.
Single opening.
Yep.
I have a pretty good score with it. But yeah, for white, I kind of jump around a little bit. I go between like boring D4 Catalan stuff and terrible E4 gambits. I can't decide which one of them is more fun, so I kind of flip back and forth.
That is like two extremes, right? The positional Catalan or some dodgy.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of exchange Slavs as well.
You sound very similar to me, which is a bit worrying because I play a lot of exchange Slavs and these things, but then I might wake up on the wrong side of the board and I'll wheel out like a Sicilian wing gambit or something. So yeah. It's nice. It's nice to sort of change styles, isn't it? Occasionally, I think. So
Yeah, most of the time with D4, I've been against the Slav, I've been playing the exchange, and against the Grunfeld and King's Indian, I've been playing your Harry attack for the last 3 months,
how has that
which I
worked for
think
you?
is fantastic. I have an absurd score with the 3H4 against the Grunfeld and King's Indian.
I'm going to
I think
very quickly show that. So we're talking about this position here, an idea for white, which is H4, which is actually one of Stockfish's top moves. But it's a really dangerous line, isn't it? Actually, funnily enough, really dangerous.
Yeah, I think this stands up pretty well. I think Grischuk was quite a big fan of this as well, and
It was, yeah.
you know, he knows his opening theory. But yeah, I've been playing it in online games for months now. I think I score about 87% or some
Wow,
crazy score.
that's not bad. That's
It's a
not
lot of
bad
fun.
at all. It is, yeah. I mean, there's so many chessboard courses out there now by great authors. Everyone out there should better find something that will help their chess. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And the only problem with the Budapest is, I mean, after D4, knight F6, what if they don't go C4? It can be quite annoying, right?
Yeah, that's the. I mean, there's two downsides to the Budapest. It's that if they play two knight to F3, and also,
yeah,
that's one big downside. The other big downside is if they play two C4,
and actually
and then
take off,
and then you have to play the Budapest.
It's basically whatever they play is got its issues, right?
Yeah,
I understand that. I looked at the Budapest quite a lot. It's a really fun opening to play, but you need to maybe have a backup opening as well, just in case they play these knight F3 moves, right, or something like that.
So, yeah. Unfortunately,
yeah,
I just go into some kind of Slav or semi-Slav.
Okay,
It's not half as much fun.
No. So back to this game, which is now heating up a little bit with Svidler against a very strong and talented player, Cory, who has a sister who's really strong as well, also a grandmaster, I believe. And the computer is very much like in White's position, but I'm never in blitz. Whenever your opponent plays a move like F5 and your king is on that side of the board, it's never that clear. I mean, I can understand why the computer thinks White's better, because White's got a lovely hold of these squares and the knight can sort of come in. You might win on the queen side, but you have to be a little bit careful of some attack coming through right over here. So Peter's probably doing well here, I think, MrDodgy, but you've got to keep on top of any sort of F4 stuff, which he's on top of at the moment, but you've got to just be a little bit careful.
I guess he wants to play rook takes A8 at some point. If the attack starts to get a little bit scary, he can drag the rook away from the king side, maybe.
Makes sense. And black is, I guess, trying to reroute his knight towards this area. So yeah, Peter's definitely better here, but you just got to be on top of things. You can see Peter now is concentrating. He's still teaching his lesson as well, by looks of it, speaking out loud.
Yep,
as we can see in the video.
He's not streaming on his Twitch channel at all.
Not at all. He's teaching end games to kids to crowd. And he's got, okay, Peter's now aiming to block that knight off. The knight comes back. See, this is the thing. Now, I mean, I don't really get this move. He wants to bring his queen over, okay. Just because the bishops seem to be on quite a good diagonal, stopping ideas like F4 and maybe a knight coming this way later on. But still okay for White at the moment. Which side would you have, MrDodgy? I know you love attacking. Would you rather have some sort of maybe snippet of chances against the White King here? Or would you like the positional
I think
grind?
I would rather play black here. I would probably lose, but I think I'd be happier with the black pieces here, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'd lose at both colors here, but I'd rather be black because the White King is a bit weaker. It doesn't have the fianchetto bishop. So now black is opening up the F file. Okay, this is quite a big decision because now you don't have the chance of pushing that pawn forwards, which is the other way you can start the attack. But it makes sense if you can get some ideas against the knight on F3. So what does Okay, white takes to the pawn. That looks logical. Does he have a... No, he doesn't have rook takes f3. Okay, brings the queen over, keeping the pressure on that side of the board. I think time's going to be very important here. Keep an eye on the clocks. There's no increment as we go on in this game. It's just going to come down to at the moment, Peter does have the time advantage.
Yeah, Peter was kind of worried about the clock yesterday. He doesn't think that he's the fastest player in the world. So we'll see.
What is this move? Oh, sorry. I just... Peter doesn't blunder pieces, does he? Well, not often. Okay.
Not very often.
Not very often. The clock is really hard. I mean, Peter's a bit of a perfectionist as well. And when you're a perfectionist, it's very hard to go into hustle mode at the end, I think. Which,
yeah, at a certain point, you just have to abandon the chessboard and just use the clock.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You just got to give up on whatever's happening, on the board and just move the pieces as fast as you can. When you get down to like maybe at least 20 seconds, that's where you just got to play. So they're both under a minute now, and Black has managed to get this activity. He's potentially going to use the pawn as well, causing a little bit of problems. I think that Corey is the much quicker player, seeing some of his other games. And you can see he's speeding up now, keeping that rook on the board. So this is a very close game. Who do you think is going to take it?
Obviously, I'm rooting for Peter, but it does look like the clock situation is not in his favor.
Yeah. And look
also,
at this.
The board situation might not be.
Yeah. I know. It's look at this. H3 is coming. I don't like this at all for white now. Oh, I even missed this move. Just threatening queen takes f1.
Oh.
And Peter's just resigned. Just resigned.
Yeah. Knight d3, and then the e pawn's going to fall as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the only move that maybe covers both of those threats. And unfortunately for Peter, there's maybe stronger moves, but if you want to, you can take here and just be 2 pawns up. But there's probably this one, isn't there, as well?
Yeah.
There's lots of horrible things going on. Yeah. Okay, tough luck for Peter there. And that makes his chance of qualifying a lot harder. But
Muradli is winning again.
Winning again. Someone's got to calm this guy down.
Okay, he has one, so he moves to 8 out of 8. Well, incredible. 7 out of 7 because he did have the game against Esipenko, but wow, unstoppable.
Incredible. I mean, absolutely unstoppable. It's kind of good for the other players now if he just keeps winning, because you can just say he qualifies and he can take points off the other players. I mean, he's like Super Magnus at the moment, right? I mean, it's
nice to have an improved version of Magnus in the tournament.
Yeah, we need Turbo Magnus. So we got this guy, Turbo Magnus. Lawrence Trent lost that one. Just have a quick look at the results, unfortunately for Lawrence fans. So looking at where Lawrence is standing at the moment, he's in 12th place. So not going to be easy for him now. He needs to get some wins on the board. We're we're just over the halfway mark now.
Scherer's got a draw with Fressinet.
Very good result for Scherer's. Andrew Tang won again, so he's having a great time. And Sam Sevion actually lost to Kirill. Kirill, very, very dangerous. And we're just waiting for the next round now. So let's have a look. What game should we go for in the next one? Should we have a look at one of Andrew's games? We haven't maybe looked at Andrew's.
Yeah, let's watch Andrew against Parabian against Andrew Tang.
Yeah. So we'll wait for this one to start. In the chat, anyone who you're rooting for then? So I'll let you know. I mean, I'm rooting for obviously my fellow countryman and friend Lawrence Trent. I like to see Scherer's qualify as well, but that's not going to happen. Let's be honest. It's just good experience from this tournament. But I love to see Lauren. I love the underdog as well. Good underdog story is always good. I would like to see Svidler qualify because I very much like his commentary and he's a fantastic player. So probably pretty much similar to you, MrDodgy.
Yep.
The people I want to see qualify.
I'm also rooting for the Ukrainian guys, Shevchenko and Elyanov.
Of course, yeah.
I hope they do
yes.
well.
Yeah, it'd be great to see them do well. Yeah, 100%. And in the chat, we got people saying Andrew Tang. Yeah, I mean, such a strong player. He I don't know why he hasn't really. I know Andrew Tang, he's been a bit of a legend online for many years. His bullet skills, his sort of multitasking skills, just his marathons he's had with Magnus Carlsen, where I think he's like held his own. And it's a bit, to me, a bit. I know he did a bit. He went away from chess. I think he did a bit of stockbroking or something. He's still very young, but I'm kind of a little bit surprised he hasn't done more. Does that sound fair?
I don't think he is a chess professional. I think he has a job at the moment. Some kind of finance stuff. I don't really know.
Right.
But I think, he's not a professional chess player. He's pretty good for an amateur, I would say.
He's pretty good for an amateur.
Yeah, I think being probably one of the best bullet players and definitely one of the best blitz players as well is pretty decent.
Yeah, as someone again says in the chat, just different priorities. And there was famously Luke McShane had the title of world's strongest amateur, didn't he? Luke was about 2,700 strength, but worked for Goldman Sachs, and he was called that for a long time. But still incredibly talented chess player. I don't think you. There's not many players who've got to grandmaster strength and just given up. It's very rare because you kind of fall in love with the game, and it's hard to give it up once you fall in love with it. The only one I can think of is a guy called James Howe from England, who got to grandmaster and then gave it up. But I can't really think of any other title players that much. Can you think of any, MrDodgy? I mean, we all want to give it up at some point. I mean, I certainly wanted to give it up last night, but didn't. Oh, Robin Van Kampen.
I don't think Valery Salov plays very much anymore.
Yeah, but he's gone mental, hasn't he? Basically, is that right? So, I mean, there's a reason for that. I think doesn't
he give it up?
He gave up many things, to be honest. Yeah. So, doesn't he think lizards control us, or I don't know? Like one of. I'm not, not even saying all of David Icke stuff is crazy, but that is.
Joel Lothier, he's one. Robin Van Kampen.
Yeah, Joel. That's it. And there was a Dutch player, I can't remember his name, he's very strong. That's another one who became, if they get a good job, which pays a lot of money, that's the only way they get tempted away, I think, from chess, generally. Money, a good job.
Also, I think like chess, I think chess is the perfect hobby. Like, it might not be the perfect job for everyone, but I think for everyone, it's the perfect hobby. Even if you're very good at it, you can still enjoy it. And some people do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it gives you a chance to travel to different places, to see people, friends who have a similar interest, and to use your mind and do something constructive. So it's certainly a great hobby to have, chess. As long as it doesn't take you over, because it can certainly consume you as well, I think, at times.
Yeah, now, it's very addictive.
Why these guys are playing like 400 miles per hour? Do they know this is not a bullet game, right? I mean, and why does my engine say that White's completely winning? I don't understand anything about this at all. Can you help me out here? I don't understand why White is completely winning.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Maybe it's because the bishop is just out of the game. Unless it's just the engine doesn't know stuff.
I mean, they're playing so quick. They've played 35 moves. And I know they are generally bullet players. You can see that White has got the better position because his bishop has this better range. The black bishop is kind of trapped in. And White's king is now entering in. White's rook is better. So White is better. But how does white make progress? And the computer's saying this is completely winning for white, which I find a little bit hard to explain. Now, if white
Yeah,
takes here, there might be a d3, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see how. How does white make progress here?
I'm not sure. I mean, what if you take on f6 now? What's the problem with that one? I mean, because rook takes f6 last move, I could play d3. But I was going to say it's a very, very crafty move. Look at this c4. If you take with a bishop, this d3, and this is probably winning for black. Now, if you take with a pawn, is there really a rook takes here? No, I don't believe that. Is there?
Rook c5.
Okay, and that wins the rook. Very nice tactic. So back to the game. Of course, they've played about another 10 moves during the course of that, I think, because these guys, they're quick. Okay, so can white break through? Rook to a6, bishop c3, bishop c4. White still probing with his 3 better pieces, but he's got to find a way to break through this position. And can't see it at the moment.
Yeah, I don't really understand what's happening in this game.
No, I have no idea. I mean, I say I have no idea because they're moving so quick. They don't need to move this quick. And it's kind of like, yeah, why didn't they slow down at some point? But how does okay, now this, okay, that was the point. Maybe it's some zugzwang. He's got the zugzwang here, meaning that black can't hold on to this pawn, and maybe black's just going to drop things. Isn't now rook takes pawn possible? And he's played it. He's played rook takes pawn, so black's pawns are dropping off very slowly, and this is why the computer.
But it's not the most critical pawn.
It's not, but I suppose this one could be next, right?
As okay, yeah, maybe that's.
You know,
he just repeats the same idea and then zugzwangs him again and picks up another pawn.
He's literally just going to clear him off row by row, right? It's like a computer game, you know, like get rid of the pawns one at a time.
Yeah, this is a very interesting game from white.
Yeah, I mean, they're so quick, right? Incredible. Who was that? There was this German grandmaster as well who I think gave up, but he still plays online a hell of a lot. And he's always played online. He plays like about 6 hours online, and he went out with a supermodel. Can you remember this guy? I'm trying to remember him.
Oh, you mean Eric
Famous
LeBron?
Yeah, Eric LeBron. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. He kind of stopped playing chess, didn't he? But he went out.
Yeah, I think so.
He went out with a supermodel as well, which is quite, you know, you don't hear that.
Probably why he stopped playing chess.
Do you think that could be a reason?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think he might have had other interests.
It kind of makes sense, I guess, yeah. And look, now this pawn's gone on that square. He's going to go back and win that one. He's literally, white is just trying to clear up this row. The king now comes back. It's quite nice technique from white, this game, has to be said.
Yeah, this has been very impressive. I wonder if he realized, how early he realized that he's just going to win this.
Yeah. But why did Andrew play, oh, is this a trick? Okay, he's going to go rook d. Well, he's getting opposite kind of bishop now. Some chances. But I'm wondering why. I know Andrew's a famous, bullet player, but I'm wondering why Andrew played quite so quickly at the start here. He didn't maybe need to. I don't want to be too critical, but could have taken a bit more time. And how easy is this to win? Actually, I mean, it should be winning because you're going to get 2 connected passed pawns, but it's not. It probably is just very easy, isn't it? Because the king's coming through to support. Yeah, this is an easy win.
Yeah. There's nothing.
Yeah, and Andrew's now resigned. So that was strange. Very, very quick game. And important win there for David. Now, Lawrence Trent, unfortunately, lost. He's having some real problems with the black pieces today. And Peter Svidler lost again. So that's really bad news for Peter. Well, one thing I have to say that Peter might do a little bit too quickly, MrDodgy, and I can't criticize the great man, but he does sometimes resign a little bit too quickly. And that's coming from me, the master of resigning prematurely. Because in this position, yeah, he's losing this one. And maybe, he's playing Kirill, very strong player, just thinks I've had enough. But you can kind of fight on a little bit here. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I would never resign here. Like you're winning the dark square bishop for a lousy rook.
Exactly. Who needs that crappy rook anyway, Just give it up. It's a sacrifice. You got these pawns. So I don't know. It's a little bit premature. Obviously, he is losing in a more classical time limit, certainly. But he could have possibly tried playing on there. Sam Sevion won again, so doing well. And Fressinet drew with Pavel. Shiraz lost. Oh, is this the right round? Am I going crazy here?
Yeah.
This is the right round.
That's the one we just watched.
Oh, this is the one we just watched, yeah. And okay, but the big question is, look at that. He's dropped a game.
Wow, that's a big win for Maxime Lagarde. He jumps back into the qualifying spots. He might have already been there.
He may have just about been there. Shall we have a look at who's qualifying at the moment, maybe? If possible, we can see. And
there we go. So we've got Muradli, Shevchenko, Sevian, Andrew Tang, Corey, Lagarde, Fressinet, and Zaga. So the two French guys were actually quite late invites as well because they've literally just come back from the World Team Championship. So I didn't know if they were going to be able to play because of the World Team Championships. Because if they'd got to the final, they probably would have been traveling today and they couldn't make it. But
who did you have to kick out to get them in? Come on, you can tell us.
No, I waited with the World Teams because there was a bunch of people that I wanted to invite, so I was very patient and I managed to grab Ralph as well.
Right,
because he was there. But yeah, I sent Laurent and Maxime a message while they were at the airport. And
okay,
on the way home,
and you got them in.
Yep,
just in the nick of time. Is there any, now you've seen the qualifying stages, and I like the way you're doing it this time. You've got these little stages. Is there any other little changes you might make next year round for what is quite possibly the most famous tournament online nowadays?
So one of the ideas, and maybe people in chat could say if this is a good idea or not, is that, in fact, this was actually Anish's idea that I discussed with him. He thinks we should have a tournament with an odd number of players, which we kind of have at the moment anyway, but it's a little bit quick to grab people for one game. But he thinks we should have a tournament with an odd number of players, and whoever gets the bye in each match, they should join the commentators. So every single round, we would get a different player in to join the commentators, and they could talk. They could abuse their previous and future opponents. That would make it a little bit more interesting.
I like that. That's a nice
I think
idea.
they should do that in the Champions Chess Tour, because then you could just like drag Magnus into the studio for a round and get him to commentate.
I'm sure he'd love that. So playing a hard game of chess and he's got to commentate with us guys. I like the idea though. I mean, because commentary. There's so many different commentators now, and it'd be great to hear somebody's guys' opinion, right? I mean, I know Andrew Tang used to, for example, just looking at some of the names there, he used to do a bit of stuff on Twitch. I don't know if he does anymore, but I'd love to hear some of his commentary. And some of these guys who probably otherwise would not commentate. It'd be nice to hear their point of views, right? So
yeah, and I think a lot of these guys do have interesting takes, especially when they just don't always get in front of a camera very often, so you don't really get to hear from them. But then, someone like Korobov, who, if you've never seen a Korobov interview, you wouldn't know how incredibly funny he is, because he doesn't, get interviewed that often. But
Korobov is a bit of a legend, right? A really good legend. as a lot of these guys are. And did you hear the most controversial rule? Would you hear the rule we had not at this crypt event? So I mentioned this earlier. We had a company I sort of do, Ginger GM, had a we hold this party every year or two, and it's in a crypt in London, and it's very light-hearted. You can drink during the game, you can just have a bit of a laugh. But the one before that was about what was before COVID, I guess, about 5 years ago. Did you hear the rule we had? We had the qualifying groups.
You had to fail the breathalyzer test before you got to proceed to the next game or round, or
that is right. Yes, that was probably the most controversial rule we could think of. That you had the qualifying groups, 2 players from each group went to knockout stages, but the players had to fail the breathalyzer test to go through, which was actually, looking back, a pretty stupid idea, not a very clever idea at all. But that was a weird one. That was a weird one anyway.
I think it's a fun idea.
It's a fun idea. It's supposed to be light-hearted, but
we should do it for the next Champions Chester. We'll put that as a suggestion for the next season.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's hope it's not sponsored by Saudi Arabia that year or something. Could be.
Or Qatar.
Or Qatar, yeah. Maybe we could get Budweiser to sponsor it and then pull it out at the last moment or something. I don't know. Ban.
Yeah, Budweiser are giving all the beer away to the winners of the World Cup, which is a pretty good compromise, I think.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, whichever country wins, they're going to send them, like, I don't know, 50 million liters of beer or something.
What if Saudi Arabia win?
They get the beer anyway.
I mean, you're going to have to bomb them with beer because I don't think they're going to want it.
Okay, let's change the subject.
Okay, I'm still waiting for the next round to start, but am I getting us in trouble? Am I doing a good job?
Yeah, maybe that's
okay. Right, back to the games. Back to the games. I say we look at Lawrence Trent versus the leader for the next one, because Lawrence is at least playing some exciting openings, right?
Yeah.
So,
and Lawrence could be a good spoiler as well. I feel like,
yeah,
if someone's going to beat the leader, although he did just lose a game, could be Lawrence.
Agreed. Yeah, he's a dark horse, isn't it? Dark horse to the round. And hopefully they're going to get started soon. And we're off. Lawrence playing not knight c3 now, but a more traditional move. And he's gone for the trump, one of my favorite openings as well. And okay, we had d5, which is a good response. Knight d2, now c5. And this d5 move is the problem with the trump, I've come to realize, unfortunately. They're still following theory, but there's not really any way white can get advantage against 2d5. You can get some interesting positions, but it's a good, solid response from black. And black is just
the most controversial game of, well, maybe not controversial, but Magnus did lose against the trump yesterday.
He did. So yeah. He did.
So maybe Lawrence is thinking, I can beat today's Magnus with the trump.
I reckon so. I mean, Lawrence has been playing the trump most of his life. I actually think most players in England have basically played the trump at some point in their life. I mean, I did a DVD on it for Ginger GM. Kaldas, I hope I pronounced his name right, our very friendly Polish author for Chessball.
Yeah,
has done it's Kaldas' handle on.
Yeah, Kaldas 90, I think, is his
Kaldas
online
90.
handle.
Yeah, that is right.
I don't know what it means, but
no, maybe we've got any Polish people if it's a Polish word. But yeah, he did a really good course as well on the trump, and it's a really decent opening if you want to avoid a lot of theory. But Lawrence has had many interesting ideas. But I have to say, if you're wondering about the reply to play, most of the top players just play d5. And then you either have to give your bishop up or you have to play the kind of thing that Lawrence is doing here. And going back to the game, I must say that if anyone's making progress in the early middle game, I would say it's white, because space does mean a lot in chess. And white's managed to gain a bit of space in MrDodgy.
Yeah, he's got some space. This looks like a pretty normal position. I think Lawrence is doing pretty well here.
It's also a bit like a lot of English players. We can think of the late Mike Basman, who only recently passed away, and well, Mike Basman used to play. He used to play all sorts of ridiculous openings. But when he played sensible stuff, he was incredibly good and one of the best players in the world. He nearly beat Bovnik when Bovnik was world champion, and it kind of reminds me like when Lawrence does sensible stuff. He's also it's maybe he should do it more. I remember he drew with Kramnik in an over the board classical game when he just played some sensible stuff. And here he's just trying to play sensible.
He did. Yeah, there's not even many grandmasters, I think, could say that you could get a draw with Kramnik. So.
Yeah, no. And this is when Kramnik was, it was a classical game of chess. It wasn't a blitz game or anything. Okay, so what? But this move looks a bit funny because you're in line with the rook. So why can't we like? Oh, I don't like this move. I was thinking you could take on this square. And there's some issues with this one. Like, okay, let's say you take with a pawn, I take on f6, and you can't now take with a bishop because I win your knight. And if you have to do this horrible move, well, your king is incredibly weak. So that was maybe some considered after knight c5. You could certainly consider taking on d5. Now I don't know if there's a good move against this, but well, maybe something like rook takes c5. Easy to miss these things. Let's go back to the game. So Lawrence instead went for knight d4, and after e5, he's free into it. But is this actually going to help manage to swap off his undeveloped piece for that bishop? Not a great piece. He's managed to swap it off, and he's coming through the center now. So I don't really like the way this has developed over the last couple of moves, MrDodgy.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit tricky now. He does have the bishop pair, at least.
He has the bishop pair, but look at that knight on c5. That is such a strong piece. I mean, and I think not getting rid of that pawn will come back to haunt Lawrence a bit because that pawn is just a bit of a lemon. I don't know. Do you think people from do you think that's an English, Scottish, British expression, a bit of a lemon? Or is that saying that Americans say?
I think that's a British one.
It's a British one. Is there anyone American listening? And if you are listening, do you know what the expression "a bit of a melon"? Do you ever hear that? It kind of feels like that's a British expression. I feel definitely. A lemon is a piece of okay. It does feel like life rage.
Americans do say a bit of a lemon. Wow, I'm surprised.
Maybe. I'm surprised as well. Americans know that phrase. Okay, that does surprise me. Yeah. Whereabouts in Scotland are you from, MrDodgy?
I'm from Dundee.
On the
East Coast.
East Coast. That was my first ever British Chess Championships in Dundee when I was 12 years old. It's quite a nice little place. Cold, but nice.
Yeah, you were there. I think you were there the last time I was there.
I was as well. Yeah, I played in the all there. I can't remember what year it was now. 2017, yeah.
The last time I lost a classical game of chess.
That sounds good. I wish I could say the same. Can't quite say the same, unfortunately. And back to the game. Well, we can see this knight is really a big problem. But if you just compare the pieces of the two sides, that's got control, obviously, of the open file. Black's got the better bishop and a better knight. And what's Lawrence doing with his knight? Lawrence is just moving his knight backwards and forwards. He's running out of ideas. The two rooks can't really do anything as well. So this is very strange. What's going on here? They're just moving the knight and bishop backwards and forwards.
Are they going to repeat or no?
They can't. I mean, Black can't repeat this one, can he? No. Okay, he's moving in now. His knight's coming in. There could well be tactics with this one at some point, but there's a bigger tactic with a knight coming here on the agenda.
Oh, how do you stop that? Because if you block with the rook, then knight c1.
Yeah, if you go here, the knight goes the other way. Nasty. Okay, he's gone rook d2, but the knight's gone there anyway.
Yeah, so it hits the bishop.
That is the end.
Wow.
Again, very impressive play from the tournament leader. And if we go back to if we go back to the position, it was all pretty normal here. And there was only really one chance missed. I mean, knight d4 does look like a pretty sensible move to try to come to the square, but the only possible missed opportunity was this pawn was so weak for the rest of the game. And I think this was the right time to take here, which might have led to some advantage for Lawrence in the position. But apart from that, it looked like Black played another pretty much perfect game. Impressive stuff. This guy is good.
Yeah.
Very good. Where do you want to go?
So, let's look at Peter Svidler against Iturrizaga. I think Peter's winning this one. And Peter really needs to start winning games. He's only on 3 out of 8. Actually, he's just lost 3 games in a row.
Just lost 3 games in a row. Sorry, I'm just trying to find his game. I'm a bit slow here. Apologies. Okay, here we go. He's lost 3 in a row. Okay, yeah, you're right. If Peter is going to qualify, what are we in? We're round 10 now, are we? So there's
yep,
only 5 games left after this one. He needs to get a roll of wins going. Is he going to win this one?
Does look like he's got a lot of extra pawns.
You know, if Peter had the black pieces here, you know what Peter would do, right?
I think he might resign.
He would just resign. That's correct. Black's best chance is probably to try and flag here. They're both under a minute. That's the only problem that Peter will have here if he runs out of time. These pieces starting to coordinate a little bit together, but he's got to win this position. If he wants to qualify, Peter must win this game. There's no doubt about that. If he doesn't win this one, you can't get a better chance than this.
Yeah, and the king's a little bit cut off. But...
yeah. Obviously, he's got these 3 pawns.
I think in the long term, it's not a problem, but to win in 30 seconds or so, like he needs to get the king out probably.
I like this idea now. He's getting his king out. He's still got to be a little bit careful. And let's see how quick Peter is. He's got double the time of his opponent. And of course, his position's getting better and better now. He's actually quite quick. He's moving quickly, no?
He is pretty quick.
Don't get mated, Peter. Don't get mated. You know, you've got to avoid rook takes h2. Okay, he's avoided.
No, very professional.
And you can see, look at
never get made.
Yeah. And look at the video feed. He's gone into total focus mode now, right?
Yeah.
He's got it. He's got it in the bag, I think. In the bag. There you go. Important win there.
Okay, so that brings Peter up to 4 out of 9. He's still not in the qualifying spots. Next round will be Peter against Laurent Fressinet, so I think we should watch that one.
Definitely.
Sorry, Fressinet against Peter.
So we're 2/3 of the way through the qualification today, and maybe we should have a look at who's qualifying and who's not qualifying so far, if we can.
So Muradli keeps his lead. Shevchenko in second with Sevian and Andrew Tang. David Paravian, was Paravian qualifying before, or has he had a string of wins? He's won 2 in a row. Then Corey, Maxime Lagarde, and Fressinet.
Yep.
So, yep. Iturrizaga's only a half point behind. And then there's a bunch of people on 4.
Very close. Behind. I mean, MrDodgy, if you look at all the players, basically, I don't think Lawrence can qualify anymore, and Shiraz. But if you look at every other player, they've still got a chance of qualifying, right? I mean, you've got Boris, Peter, Pavel, Salem, Edward. I mean, any of these guys could do it.
1 point with 5 rounds to go is not
no
huge gap. So
because you got one person on 0 who wasn't able to make it, Esipienko, and you got one guy just racing ahead, it kind of means the qualification score is going to be less. So maybe, you know, it could even be 7.5 possibly to qualify. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. 5 rounds left. 5, 6, 7. Maybe 7.5, I'd say, could qualify.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, 5 out of 10 is is enough, which is 50%. So
yeah, that's right. So 7.5 could be the qualifying one. The next game we're going to look at, we're just waiting for it to start, is going to be Fressinet with the white pieces against Peter Svidler. Fressinet just in the qualification, and Peter Svidler needs to. He's only a point off, but if Peter now loses a game, a loss is going to make his life very difficult. He'll need to practically win every other game. So big game here with the black pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very close going into the last 5 rounds.
But... yeah. And do we know anything from Esipienko?
I haven't heard anything from him, but I guess, yeah, he's just not able to play. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Bundesliga came in. So
there's always next year.
Always next year. And is there any prize money in this, or is it just, do we get a picture of you on the horse? Is that the general prize?
I think there's about 15k in prizes, as well as a picture of me and the horse. And also,
wow,
the highest ranked player who wants to go to Sitges will win a trip to Sitges. We'll pay flights and hotel and everything. Probably some food, I guess.
Right.
But quite a few players will be going anyway. Esipenko is going to Sitges. Gawain Jones is going.
Great.
Peter Svidler is going.
Peter Svidler is going. Fantastic.
He's gone as a commentator.
Aha, right, okay. So
Jan and Peter are going to be commentating from Sitges.
Right. So could Magnus Carlsen win a place in Sitges if he continues his form, possibly?
He could. If he plays like he did yesterday, he's got a decent shot.
But not as good as our leader today, right?
No. What was Magnus's final score yesterday? Because he lost a few games. Magnus finished on an 11.5. Okay, Magnus really does win a lot of games.
God. He does. He's not bad, is he? But our leader at the moment, 8. So if he gets 3.5 out of the next 5 or more, he'll get more than Magnus's score, which should be very, very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Magnus only had 1 draw yesterday against Krischuk.
Right. He lost a couple of games, right?
Yeah, he lost to Camille, he lost to Alan Pichot, and he lost to Gawain as well.
Gawain, yeah. Good result for Gawain. I think that's maybe is that the first time I think that Gawain's beaten him? Gawain.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, must have felt good. Okay, well, we're off with this important game. Mm-hmm. Fressinet just qualifying at the moment, and Peter Svidler with the black pieces has played a bit of an unorthodox opening. Putting a bishop here is a little bit strange on f5, but they're moving quite logically. This is kind of White's ideal setup if White can play e3, because then the bishop is outside of the pawn structure. So this is what Fressinet wants to play. He wants to play e3, keep the bishop there. But the first question that has to be, okay, well, Peter going for a much more solid setup, so now I expect e3 to be played. You can also think about trying to win this bishop. And the other idea you can do when this bishop moves out is to play queen b3 to try and annoy black over there. And queen b3 being played, and now c5 would be a very positional approach to this. He takes the knight first, and I expect he'll play c5, but you can also take these queens off and keep it simple like this. Mm-hmm. e3, okay. Similar kind of idea.
Yeah, so this looks not ideal for Peter if he wants to win the game, but I guess probably a draw is actually okay at the moment. I think he wants to be careful not to lose, probably, but
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think a draw in this one against someone as solid as Fressinet is fine. A loss is going to really make it tough for him. I don't know who Peter's got left to play, but going back to that, this does strike me as the kind of position that Fressinet will be really enjoying. If especially b5 is now a really big positional threat, so black probably has to move this rook away. And another typical idea when you get these positions is to move the knight in like this, which he's now doing. This knight deserves the a5 square. And okay, black is sort of all right in these structures, but when I say all right, black is always a little bit worse. White's got a very simple idea of just moving his king and bishop. So I'd certainly rather be white in this kind of structure. Now, is there a b5 tactic here? That would be the first move that springs to mind now that black's given up the back rank. Because if you can play b5, it always helps you because you open up more lines. Does b5 work, MrDodgy here?
So b5, pawn takes. Let's maybe put this on the board and see.
Yeah, so b5, you probably want to take this way. My idea would be to play bishop takes. And if you can't take the bishop, you're just in a lot of trouble. And if you do take the bishop, how's this kind of thing? I give you a chance. I come here, and I'm actually threatening some checkmating ideas. Did he go for this? This didn't happen, but this is the kind of thing white. Let's say rook here, and now like this, or maybe something like this. This could be very dangerous. Let's go back to the game. I don't want to miss too much. Lauren has decided to go. Let's just see what he did for a more contained approach, just developing his pieces essentially. And this is it. Oh God! I mean, I just couldn't play with a bishop like that. Look at it, smelly bishop.
Oh no! Yeah, there's some like Caro-Kann line where this happens as well. That I think it happened in a few high level games in a row, and I just couldn't understand.
I mean,
this bishop.
It's horrible, right? I mean, but the thing is, why might have any pawn breaks if you can't play b5? So the only, well, okay, white is certainly a little, I would say a little bit better, no matter what the computer says, because white's got more pawn break options, but maybe not. Maybe black does have this. Maybe it's okay for black.
Yeah, now that the bishop has some breathing space, it might be okay.
Yeah, maybe Lauren should be playing g to try and break it. It looks like they're both kind of happy with a draw at the moment. I'll be honest here. They're not really taking any risks, are they, in this one? So if you're gonna try to win, you play g4 now. Yeah, you have to try to break. So g4 is at least
or should he prepare? So I was going to say, should he prepare g4 with rook g2 first, rook g1, then?
Yeah.
But then I guess, like,
oof, this is really risky, MrDodgy. I mean, sorry for it in there, but if Peter wanted to draw this, surely he could have just gone f5, right? Say, well,
yeah, I was going to say that as well. Like, I thought, yeah, f5, just
draw.
There was nothing.
And this move that Peter's played, e5. Okay, well, let's see how it turns out. It means that he's taking some risk to win this because he's now bringing his bishop in the game, but he's given away this square for the white. A little bit of a risky
yeah. Okay, he played f5 afterwards, so maybe there's just nothing.
Still looks very even. Still looks very even. I'm trying to work out which color I'd rather be. Would I rather be white here, or would I rather be black? And
it does feel like black's the one that's maybe building up some pressure, but I'm not sure if there's a way to attack the g3 pawn anymore.
Well, I think he's going to go rook g8 and just threaten bishop takes h4. So this is why this is why the bishops come all the way around here to stop that threat. Now Lauren breaking on the other side. It's certainly black who's trying to win this one. Bishop takes c5. Big pawn, that one. The bishop comes back.
Yeah, this
Peter in some danger.
Yeah, Peter's black.
Oh, no, sorry, yeah. Lauren in some danger here.
Yeah.
My mistake. Oh, Peter's playing this really well. And now the bishops are starting to come to life. That dark square bishop is coming out into the middle of the board.
Yeah, this looks scary.
Looks scary. Peter playing very quickly as well. He's not as slow as he said he was, I feel. Yeah?
No, he's very much not slow.
No. He's a very modest person, isn't he, Peter? Is that fair to say?
He's too modest.
He's
He
far
tricks
too
you.
modest. Yeah.
You kind of forget how good he is at chess when you speak to him, and then you see him play chess and you remember how good he is.
I totally agree.
Or you
Yeah.
unfortunately play against him and you realize,
he's good. No, you're totally right. I mean, when you speak to some top grandmasters, it's pretty clear that they think they're the bee's knees, the best player in the world. When you speak to Peter, you wouldn't even really gather that he's a grandmaster unless you knew, because he is so modest. And when you hear his commentary as well, he's he's like, oh yeah, I'm not sure about his position. Oh, I'm not sure about this move. Oh, and then he wins like against some 2700 player, and it's like incredible, right? So he is very modest, but a very, very strong player. And now there is a threat on the board. Bishop takes f4, but White's managed to get some counterplay over here, right? With this great knight in the position. Black attacking on the king side, white attacking on. Am I getting that right? Yeah, the queen side. Okay, now can you play? It has rook takes rook. Black's crashing through.
Yeah,
black is crashing through.
Yeah, now that these other pawns are going to fall off as well, it doesn't look like he's going to hold on. No. There's no rush to win the F and H pawns.
And this king e7 was actually a very class move just to stop any tricks with the knight coming in. This is the kind of move that I think a lot of players just would not play. So Peter cruising at the moment. Very important win, this one as well. Very important win for Peter to have chances of qualifying. Only 4 rounds left after this, and he has won. Good result there for Peter. It all came to life in the middle game.
Yeah, that jumps him up to 8th place, but there's still other games going in this round. It looks like Muradli is going to win again.
Yeah, let's have a look at Muradli.
Andrew Tang.
Oh, wow, that's a big game as well.
Still kind of messy.
Okay, let's go there.
Andrew's down on the clock as well.
That makes no difference at all for Andrew. It doesn't matter if he's down or up on the clock. Okay, so this is Andrew in second. Muradli is crushing pretty much everyone. He's only lost 1 game, won everything else. So this is the battle between the first and second place. Oh, actually, it does matter on the clock. My apologies, because he hasn't got any time. And he has won again. The guy's a monster. He's an absolute monster, right?
9 out of 10. He's moved it.
What did Magnus get? 10.5 yesterday. Was that right?
I think 11.5. Yeah.
11.5. Okay. So Muradli can beat that score. Maxime Lagarde is in a good position to qualify. Important win for Pavel there as well. And this game is still going on. And well, there goes a piece. And they're trying to blitz this one out. Yeah, 5 seconds. Is it enough? Yes, is the answer. But they just look at
that was very quick.
Important. Very, very quick.
So maybe we can get the standings up and see how everyone is doing. I think that's all the games for that round.
Yeah.
So Muradli's still in the lead. Shevchenko's been in second place, so everyone's on 6. Is that right? Everyone's 3 points behind Muradli. That's incredible.
Is that right? I'm just waiting for the scores to come up. I can't see them.
Yeah, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are all on 6 points, and then Paravian and Slem are on 5.5 and 5.
That is crazy, right?
There's 5 people tied for 8th place, so it's still very close. But
looks like there's some good news for me, Mr. Dodgy. It looks like I might get more points than Esipienko with my performance.
I'm confident you will at this point. So
that's impressive, because he's quite a quality player, and I'm going to get more.
I think if we offered you that at the start of the tournament, you would take it. You'll say you'll get more than him, and be like, okay, that's fine. Whatever
the deal is, I'll be like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. So I got to be happy, content with the way things have gone. So it's going to be a real battle for these qualification places with four games to go. Maybe we can can we bring the scores up again, just see if 2 of which game we should look at maybe is unless you got one particular you want to go for.
Yeah, I think we should. Well, I did realize there's only 1 point between. If we could bring up the scores again, just for a second. Maybe not. But I think there's only 1 point behind between like 10 people.
Yeah. Well, I vote we look at Esipienko versus Fressinet and just chill out with that game for a little bit.
Yeah, I think Fress might. I think Fress is a big favorite in that one.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that and on this Saturday night.
So maybe Svidler against Grachev. They're both on 5.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep with pizza. And yeah, okay, we'll have a look at that one. Wait for that game to start. Now, Mr. Dodgy, as you know, you're originally from Scotland, and when did you move to Sweden? Like, how long ago?
I've been here for 6 years now.
6 years, okay. Now, as a Scottish person, really, do you want England to do well in the football?
Well, I lived in England for 10 years.
Aha.
And
okay.
My son is English and my wife is also English.
Ah.
So I'm not as anti-English as the average Scotsman.
Whereabouts in England did you live? Can I ask?
Yeah, I lived in Lancashire near Blackburn.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I played chess around the Northwest for about 10 years. But yeah, I like this England team. I've liked this England team for the last few World Cups. I think maybe kind of like mid-2000s, there was a lot of England players who were a lot more obnoxious than this current crop.
Yeah.
But I think these guys seem like pretty sensible, kind of a lot more socially conscious footballers than we've had in the past. People like Marcus Rashford and guys like that. So I couldn't root against someone like Rashford, for example.
No,
so that's the incredibly boring answer of they seem like nice people.
Well, it's a good answer, yeah. I mean, if they seem like nice people, then it's quite hard not to root for them, right? So
yeah, but I haven't watched a lot of this World Cup, to be honest.
No, you've been too busy running this tournament, right? So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got an open Sicilian.
This could be fun. So yeah, Peter with the white pieces against Boris. I mean, for me, I can remember the sort of 90s, the English, like Gaza, the characters, they were always really fun to watch. But you're right, this English team, they seem quite down to earth, and as you say, not obnoxious. But I also have to say, some of the English fans just so embarrassing. So let's not go there. Don't want to talk about.
I have seen clips of people in like Crusader.
Oh, come on! Yeah, I can't. Don't
suit
do
of armor
that.
and stuff going to the Middle East, which is a bit.
Yeah, I mean, just have a bit of respect for the country you're going to. Maybe it's like such a bad idea.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I went to. I won't say I've been to Qatar, but I did go through Qatar when I went to India. So I had like a change of planes at the airport, and I've never experienced heat like that. It was like easily in the 40 degrees when we got off the plane for 5 minutes, and I know it's winter there now, so it's a little bit cooler, but it seems pretty hot.
Yeah, I spent a couple of weeks. I was commentating at Qatar Open, and the hotel, beautiful hospitality, really nice, but the heat was intense, absolutely intense. Not for us gingers or people from Sweden or Scotland, really. I feel.
Yeah, even the temperature in India was like much milder. Right, and it was pretty hot in India, but it was okay.
Yeah. So okay. Anyway, what's happening in the game here? It seems pretty balanced at the moment. I mean, structurally, Peter has this pawn. He can attack, but Black is going to be playing, I feel, on the queen side here. This is a very nice square for his knight. And Peter would love actually to move this pawn back one square because, I just moved the board size. Sorry about that for ruining the board size. How do you make it smaller? Is there a way you can? Aha. Can I do this? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Perfect.
Because Peter would like to play a move like b3, but then this a pawn's always on pre. So, okay, so he's going for another approach. He's attacking the knight, which is defending the pawn. So he's got obviously ideas of taking and putting pressure on that guy. But here comes Boris's counterplay with knight coming into c4, going for the queen side. So it seems fairly balanced so far, right? I'd say.
Yeah, although black kind of wins the pawn here, I guess.
Is he going to win the pawn? Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't he? It looks like
Bishop takes a3 is a threat as well.
Oh, yeah. With the rook lining up against the queen. So maybe a little bit of pressure against Peter's position. I mean, yeah, okay, this move makes sense because there's always this issue. But what are you going to do after knight takes b2 now? Does Peter look nervous here? I can see they both got the same posture here. It's a big
Peter
game
always looks
for
nervous
players.
though, so we can't judge from that.
They're very much deep in. I have to say, I like the artwork behind David there. Look at that. It looks like he's in some museum, like modern art place. Can you see that? Or has he just got a very blurry camera, do you think?
Does look like some nice artwork behind him.
Yeah. Or maybe he's got a kid and they were sick on the wall or something. I don't know. But it looks nice. I like it. I like that kind of trippy stuff. Okay, the rooks come here. So black is a pawn up, but does white have enough counterplay? Because white now has the threats ready. And the main threat is probably something like this. But you can also start a kingside attack, right, with knight f5. So I feel there might... Oh, is there a rook takes e7 even in this kind of position? That is scary. It's kind of move I'd certainly be wanting to play. The idea is if I go rook takes here, you take the queen, then I go here, which is a typical combination. And I'm trying to attack while your pieces are a little bit offside. And I don't know. Oh, he's played it. He's played rook takes e7. I found...
there's no way Peter would miss that.
No. I'm just happy I found one of Peter's moves. So, yeah. No, Peter loves attacking, right?
Yeah, so rook takes e7 is just the end of the game, I guess. Like, you're just going to get made here somehow?
Yeah.
I think if you go e7, do you play bishop takes or?
I think you probably just take here, right?
And knight f5.
Now, yeah, or one of these knights is going to come in, isn't it? Right. So maybe knight f5, yeah, and that's the end. Okay, so so let's go back to the game because somehow black managed to run through that a bit slower because they're moving very quickly there. Obviously, it is blitz. That does happen. Okay, so black has managed to get the queens off, which is very useful. And we're going into an ending. That's a little bit disappointing somehow, right? Yeah.
Yep. Although Peter's going to be 2 pawns up, so it feels like he's on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Grachev, this is a big game because Grachev's on the same score as Peter as well.
Massive game. Yeah.
A big group on 5. And another big group on 6.
Yeah, Peter can win this. He's looking favourite to qualify, right? I think this is why they're both, you can see, so intensely into this game as well. And you're right. I mean, he's going to win this pawn, and it just seems 2 pawns to the good, right? We've also plenty of time. We've seen Peter playing very quickly. I mean, can black try to black goes knight c3, knight c4? This is my best shot, and we take here. If black can get rid of these 2 pawns, he has decent drawing chances with all the pawns being on the same side of the board. So this to me will be his best bet. Let's see if this happened. Okay, well, something a bit similar did happen, but of course they're moving very quick now. So we'll stick with the moves actually played.
Yeah, this is still kind of unclear.
It's a lot of work to win this one. It's only 1 pawn, isn't it? Not 2.
Yes.
Yeah. And what's happened there? Okay, so still not too much of a change. The black rook and the black knight at the moment, very much out of play. Beautiful square for the white knight there. The black king could be in a lot of trouble. And you probably are safe just taking this pawn here.
Yep.
And he has taken it. Only danger to Peter is the A pawn. So Boris has got to, at some point, start shoving this pawn down the board.
People are asking if Peter is rapping while he plays. Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
I would like to see that though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Peace Viddy, that's what we call him.
Peace Viddy.
He does not like that nickname.
He doesn't like it, no.
No.
he strikes me more as a either classical music or maybe hard rock guy than a rapper. Or
yeah, I think that's fair.
Is that fair? Oh, what's happened here? Hang on a minute. What's happened? Oh my words.
Oh, the rook's trapped.
Oh
and
no.
The pawn runs.
The pawn. What's happened? Is Peter now losing?
Yeah, that is a big turnaround.
What on earth happened there? He's trapped the rook, and I don't think he can stop the pawn. Peter has thrown it away. Oh no, that is really bad news. And unless there's some trick here, he's unfortunately lost. That is really bad news for us.
So yeah, he probably needs to win the last three. No.
Yeah. Great save by Boris there, who you could see he was so determined in that game, in a very tricky situation. I just want to look at what happened because we're talking about Peter's music choices, and it went horribly wrong. Okay, well, first of all, I think Black played an incredibly crafty idea with bringing this knight back here because he's now at least making it tricky for the white rook. And the white rook, this was a very, very clever idea. You know, trapping that white rook and with no time on the clock, just relying on the A pawn to rush. So white is still winning here, but it's not easy now. This was a great maneuver, which I think we all missed. So this seems very sensible, just trying to chase the knight away with the pawn. I think nearly anyone would play that. And now very clever sequence moves. Rook takes F2. Okay, maybe G3 is a bit slow, but probably have to play G3 actually. Okay, G3. And now the A pawn just comes. You try to force the knight away. If you can force the knight away, you should be winning. But brilliant move here from Boris. Rook takes F5.
Yeah, and that's a very nice trick.
It's a really nice trick. And now
they
that
had
white
chance,
rook is
yeah, I had a chance to take the knight first, I think, instead of the rook.
Yeah. This was the only chance by the looks of it, right?
Yeah,
because at least this way the rook is free.
Comes back.
Yeah, and that might lead to a draw. Yeah,
okay. I'm going to take a very short break before we go into the last 3 rounds, and I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a real shame for Peter, that one. I mean, that was a very important game. Really nice defense there from Boris. I mean, it looked like around this position here, obviously Peter is 2 pawns up in an ending, and Black now found this marvelous idea of bringing the knight back to stop the rook from escaping. Maybe you know, in hindsight, it's obviously easier to say. Maybe the white king should even go this way around. And unfortunate how the game ended for Peter. He's still got a chance to qualify, but he's going to need to get some important wins in the next 3. Other results: Corey beat Kirill. Very good result there. For Corey, obviously, Slim is fighting his way back with a win. Sam Sevion drew. And remember, every win is now so important because they're so tightly bunched. Ilyanov lost to Maxime Lagarde, who's having a great run of wins. Sherez losing against the tournament leader, and this guy is just destroying everyone. He's lost 1 game and won everything else. Incredible. And Lawrence Trent not keeping up the pace at the moment. Looks like a very interesting position, this one. But he he lost to Andrew Tang, who is incredible blitz player. So maybe we can bring up the scores and just have a look at, with 3 rounds to go, what chances everyone has of qualifying. So let's see if we can see those scores. So there's only 3 rounds to go. We have 12 rounds down so far. And let's remember the top half qualify and the bottom half don't qualify. So try to get those scores up if I can. Otherwise, I'll have a look at the scores myself. So the players who are not qualifying at the moment, we have David Paravan, Peter Svidler, Pavel Ilyanov, and Lauren Fressinet as well, or sort of 5 out of 11. They've got a tough challenge ahead of them, but it's really pretty open going into the next part of this. Nearly anyone can get it if they get a roll of wins together. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to see the scores at the moment, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll get them up. Hopefully we'll get them up shortly so you can see who's going on. And the next game we'll have a look at. Okay, well, I mean, I'm just going to see. We want to keep up with some of the tense games. It looks like at the moment, Andrew Tang, Corey, and Lagarde are pretty safe in qualifying. So, which is going to be a very intense encounter. Well, again, we've looked at a couple of Peter's games, so maybe we'll move away from one of Peter's games here. Who's Lauren got? Lauren has got Salem, and Salem is making a great comeback. So I think this will be a good game to have a look at. I don't know how many games Salem has won on the trot, but he's fighting right back into the competition. I was trying to bring up the scores there, but we got somehow I don't have the power, MrDodgy. I think you're the man with the power. You have to ask for the scores so we can bring them up.
Yeah, I don't have the power to bring up the scores, but maybe we can. But yes, Salem has won 5 in a row, I believe.
5 in a row. Wow.
Or maybe. Yeah, he's won 5 plus the one against Esipenko.
That doesn't surprise me. Salem is one of those players, and it kind of goes back to what I was mentioning a little bit earlier, that in blitz, if you can get a roll going, your confidence builds up, and you start spotting the tactics, and that really does help quite drastically. So Salem is going to be a very dangerous opponent for Lauren Fressinet, and Lauren's had a couple of bad games, so Lauren really needs to not lose this game to have those chances of qualifying. And Lauren picking a very solid opening, which makes sense. Not risking too much in this one. And B3, quite an interesting move here. I mean, but it probably leads to the same kind of thing. White's going to have to just take this pawn at some point anyway.
Yep, no rush to recapture.
No. Yeah, it looks like a typical kind of Lauren idea. He's playing it very solid. He knows that Salem's an outrageously dangerous attacker, and he doesn't want to give Salem the chance to come forwards. But I don't feel White can really be better by playing like this, because the center is quite important, and Black does have the center in this position. Solid though, solid stuff so far.
Yeah, I guess he plays C4. Yeah, now.
Yeah. Both players playing quickly, and again, this kind of center, I'd be a bit scared about, to be honest. If White can maintain his hold on the light squares, then White will be doing well here. But Black now trying to block this blockade here. And I think it comes down to, if Black can play E5, E4 at any moment in this game, Lauren's going to be in a lot of trouble. If that pawn can start motoring, then Lauren could easily lose this game. So he's trying to hold on to the blockade on that square. Look at Lauren's reactions there. He's not particularly happy. And there's a couple of things that I feel.
Yeah, this looks like, does he just trade and then go for F5?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, maybe something like Okay, what's he playing? Okay, he's gone Queen E7, maybe a similar idea, right? Again, he just probably wants to bring his rook behind and push. Salem is can't believe he's won 5 in a row. This is look at it. Here he comes. The pawn comes through and not looking good for our friendly French friend.
Yep. Maxime Lagarde is still in the qualifying spots, so we should have some French representation, at least.
Doesn't look like we're gonna have any, British qualifiers this time round. We needed David Howe, really, didn't we? Yeah.
So we're not 100% sure if Magnus is going to play in the qualifying in the knockout stage, because Magnus is very busy and he only kindly agreed to step in as a last minute replacement. But what I've said, and I'm quite happy to leak confidential negotiations.
Sounds good.
Live on stream.
Yeah.
What I've suggested would be my dream scenario is that Magnus plays the knockout stage until he gets to the final. Then he withdraws and basically tags David back in. So David will come back by then. He'll play the final. I think that's a pretty good outcome.
It sounds fantastic to me. So basically what you're recommending is that basically they totally cheat. Magnus gets David all the way through to the final, and David's in the final without doing anything.
Mm-hmm. And then win or lose the final is incredibly funny. Like, if he wins the final, it's such a scam. And if he loses the final, it's like, okay, well, you had this handed to you. Like, Magnus has done all the work and you couldn't get it across the line. It's like, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story.
So what does everyone in the chat think of that? I mean, let's remember that this is not tournament director. This is tournament dictator, MrDodgy. And MrDodgy can do what any rules he wants. And I, for one, because, I don't want to lose my job because the dictator speaks, I don't know what will happen if I disagree. Something nasty. I 100% agree. And also, I really like David Howe and I like Magnus. So, yeah, I think it's a great plan, MrDodgy. Can we maybe arrange it next year that Magnus can maybe play for me until like the last game of the final, and then he can tag team me in? And I can
that sounds like See, there's a lot of ways to do this. Yeah. I think this should be a tournament format where you can tag in anyone you can convince to play for you.
Anyone you can,
and that convince. Takes I don't have to invite people. Like, other people will just be like, okay, if you've got a friend, you can play.
I love this tag team. Can you tag team them in at any point during the game as well? Like, or does it have to be like a start of the game? Because I'm just thinking, if I get to an ending, I'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't deal with this. Can I just
So you want Magnus? So you want to play the opening, and then Magnus has to play your opening position. So that sounds perfect to me. I think he'd be super happy with that.
I think seeing me play the Dutch, he would just be so sick to the stomach. There's no way he'd want to take over, and probably getting the end game positions, he'd also be pretty sick.
I think you should. I think it would be better if you play your Dutch and then you tag in Anish or maybe Wesley So or
someone like that. Yeah,
someone who just will be violently sick.
Sorry, I had a cough there. Can I tag in anyone I want? Sorry, I was gonna.
Yeah, why not? If you can convince them to play, go for it.
Okay. So I did cough, but can I tag in Hans if I can convince him to play?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, brilliant. Good. Yeah.
I don't know if you could convince him to play at this point.
I don't. I think it would be hard. We
might have to go. We might have to go to a different website that he's not currently suing for 100 million.
Is there any website he's not currently suing? I'm not sure, to be honest. I think they're all under fire, aren't they?
ICC, hit us up.
ICC, that's the one. Let's get IC on the case. By the way, what the hell's happening here? Is White? Is Lauren? It seems like Lauren is back in business here. I mean, the central player that Black has didn't really come to much, and Black loves attacking. He sacrificed exchange, but does he have anything for this, MrDodgy? Do we think?
It doesn't. Well, I mean, he has this pawn, but the pawn doesn't move, it's
Looks all right, doesn't it? Looks all right for Laura.
I'm not sure what White's kingside structure is. I don't know if you can call it a structure, but
I think he needs to worry too much if he doesn't get mated.
No.
He's all right. And I mean, in the long run, I guess these are the major problem for black. You know, we're getting to an ending. Past pawns mean queens. And black is actually swapping off pieces, and that's quite dangerous. You know, when you're middle down and you're swapping off, and with the rook, I mean, you just got to keep this.
This is just mate though. The rooks both go to the end.
Let's show that. So white can now go check, and you can just go rook here,
and the bishop stops everything. Well,
he didn't play it. He didn't play it. See, can I make some French jokes here? Like, you know, don't attack and checkmate, but go defensive. Am I allowed to make French jokes or not really?
Yeah, maybe. This is well, I mean, he is in the Chicken Chess Club for a reason. So
Kid is opposed, but he goes defensive. But he's still winning comfortably. So
yeah, he's still
completely
got more stuff.
I mean, I think that's the thing also. You've got to bear in mind, when you see one win, you don't need to look for another win, even if it is checkmate in 2 moves and it ends the game a lot quicker and you don't get in time trouble and blunder. But that's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, there was I don't know who missed mate in 1 yesterday, but it was someone quite strong.
Not
maybe Duval or someone like that. He missed mate in 1, but you know, he won a queen instead. So like, you see the queen, you take the queen in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't need the mate in 1 if there's a queen, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, and this is obviously the only thing you got to watch out for is some checkmate threats, but you have 27 seconds to deal with that, so it should be all right. And
this looks like it's the end.
Yeah,
Lawrence,
and he has.
I think I might have unfortunately accidentally jinxed Lawrence, because since I said he only wanted two points, he expected 2 points, he is still on 2 points.
Yeah, he's had a tough run, isn't he? Because he got those 2 points very early. He won the first round, and was it the second or third he got the other one in, and then
he was on 2 out of 4.
Yeah. Oh, look at this! The tournament leader lost another game, which is quite surprising, and that was a great big win for Ilyanov there as well. We'd love to see qualify. We would love to see. We want to see the Ukrainian players do well. Big win for Sam
as well. I should link some more confidential negotiations.
Please do.
Just, people enjoy that.
Yeah,
especially when it makes people look good. So I messaged Ilyanov to ask him to play.
Yeah,
and he said I don't want to play. I'm mostly working as a coach nowadays, but you should invite Salem instead. So I thought that was very nice of him, but we had space for both of them, so
they both played. That's all good.
I was already going to invite Salem anyway, because he tried to qualify. He narrowly missed out on qualifying through the arena. He finished in 3rd place, and there was only 2 spots. But that was very nice of Ilyanov, because he is an incredibly strong player in his own right.
Yes, incredibly strong. I'm glad he played. Very strong. And hopefully we can bring up scores now, because there's only 2 rounds to go, and we really need to see who's in the top 8 if we can.
So Muradli stays in 1st place. Andrew Tang, Sam Sevian, Corey, Shevchenko, Lagarde, Salem, and Ilyanov. But then this 7th and 8th, there was a 6-way tie on 6 points.
Wow.
So yeah, this is probably going to come down to tie breaks, and I believe the first tie break is head-to-head.
Can you afford something a bit more imaginative than?
I think I should have, but I didn't.
I mean, come on, can't you change the rules now? Can't you like make some rule up where? And that
in the case of a tie, Svidler wins.
Okay, that's
fair.
Yeah.
That's the tiebreak I want. But maybe that's unreasonable.
Can't we say in case of a tie, Lawrence Trent just goes through instead? Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
Just for a laugh, we can try that.
Mhm.
I think that's a good. That's actually a good one for the chat. What is what tie break rule shall we bring in? I mean, like obviously you can go for the boring one. Yeah, the person who wins got the most amount. Let's think of something a bit more imaginative that no one's ever thought of. In the case of a tie break, what is the good tie break rule? Oh, I like this one. This would fit in, MrDodgy.
Mhm.
Hours commentated on chess 24. That
Oh,
sounds
that's a
like
good one.
that is a really good one. The amount of
Mhm.
hours you commentated. Yeah, that might get Peter
So,
in, by the way.
yep. Although Fress might get there,
That's true. Very
could
exciting
be.
last couple of rounds, though. I mean,
That's
like,
that's a lot of maths to work out between Fress and Peter.
you don't really need to know. You just have a guess. You could just like, no one's going to work that
Also,
out properly.
also Lawrence is probably kind of up there as well.
Yeah, but he's only on 2 points, unfortunately. So he's got a lot of
It
lot
could
of
be
points.
the first tiebreak comes before points.
Yes, yeah, tie break before points. I like that. So basically, this is just the amount of hours you've done commentating gets you through, right? Yeah, definitely. That I like that rule. I might be able to get back in. So who should we look at in the next round? Because these last two rounds, I mean, if anyone wins now in that group, it's a major win. A
Yeah,
big
and
the
Paravian
point
has the bye in this round, so he jumps forward 1 point.
very useful. And
Uh,
so I'll let you pick the game if that's okay with you.
yeah, probably Salem against Scratchev because they're both on 6.
Okay. I mean, I really like to see Lawrence Trent versus Sherez, but that's
Okay,
not
yeah,
really.
let's go for that one. No, let's go for that one because
Can we
we
go for
haven't
that one?
watched too much of. Yeah,
We haven't seen any of Sherez's games really, and I know people might be a bit upset with this, but I don't care because they're English, and we got the new talented prodigy Sherez versus Lawrence Trent, and okay,
because like Lawrence has been
yeah,
the next big hope of English chess for the last 20
30
years or
years,
so, and it's
yeah.
finally time to hand it over. I think to
Don't they say this is the changing of the batons? I
yeah.
believe. Okay.
Well,
Well, he's played
maybe
the.
Lawrence wants to keep it.
And by the way, this is an opening I know a lot about. I'm just going to go for it because I'm about to
Mhm.
film Jabava London Part 2. And C5 is meant to be a good move, but this E4 move is going to be my new suggestion.
Okay.
And in this position here, you can even go D5 if you want to keep it a sacrifice. But this idea that Lawrence has played, it asks the question to black if he can equalize. So this is quite a nice way to play the Jabava London system, with tricks of this knight causing a lot of problems. So yeah, and I don't like the way Lawrence is playing this. I have to say, what did he do wrong here? I mean, okay, he's got one big threat, knight c7. This is basically the major battle. This is the battle for last place, which I failed. No, I won that battle yesterday. I did really well. I won the battle for last. I did a great job. But they're battling for this now.
Yeah, this is
And
a tough game because these are the only two players I think under 2,500, which wasn't
yeah,
intentional.
no, it's tough though, yeah. What do we think of this? I think Lawrence has gone wrong here somewhere because I'm just looking at these pawns, and
It looks
it's
scary.
yeah. If they ever get moving, they could be very
Mhm.
scary. You just need to get this move on the board. And White's pawns, well, they're a bit of a way off. I don't think it's tragic, but there's also moves like knight d4 you've got to watch out for. This kind of move at the right moment. So there's a lot of things that could be a bit scary here.
Yeah, and White still has to develop all of his pieces more or less.
Yeah, yeah. These guys are still at home, right? It's not easy to get them in. That is for sure. One thing I in these Lawrence is shaking his head. One thing that's very hard when you're playing blitz is tempo. And if your
Mhm.
tempo is not on, like for example, Lawrence has blitzed pretty much to this position, and he's probably realizing now that his position is pretty terrible. And it's like, right, well, in hindsight, you should have taken more time earlier on. But it's so hard to get the tempo right because if you spend too long earlier on, you can obviously get in trouble as well.
Yeah, we noticed that yesterday. A lot of people like Magnus wasn't playing particularly well in the opening. I think like he was playing a lot of kind of silly openings. But when
Yeah,
people got down on the clock against him, like they did not come back. Like if you get
yeah,
down a minute on the clock against him, you're kind of quite
yeah.
often in big trouble.
Yeah, he's a monster on the clock, actually, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just very good at putting pressure on people. And
Yeah.
how do you feel about these tournaments with kind of a more mixed field rather than just the top guys? Because I'm a big, like, obviously, like I invite the people, but like I'm a big fan of having a big mixture. My favorite tournament is Black and Sea, usually because it's quite a mixed field. I think the next edition is almost all top players, but usually I like to see a mixture.
Yeah, I mean, 100% from me. Agree with you because we see the top players playing everywhere else in the world, and and sometimes it can be pretty boring. I don't want to see these guys play the same boring openings every time. You throw in a bit of a rebel there, and you get much more interesting chess. So I'd love to see it more even. Get some more controversial players in. We need some more females next time, or is something
Yeah, I
wrong with
mean
that?
that's the
Yeah,
tricky part is that
yeah,
I definitely there's a few women players that would be great in these tournaments.
yeah.
But I'd like to see like the top female players playing. But
Sure.
Judith doesn't really play chess anymore, neither does Hui Fan,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
No, this is the problem, isn't it? And it's also about scheduling. I know a lot of the players are away, the female players playing elsewhere, and it's getting the right mix. But I think you've done a great job of getting the mixed people. But I certainly think like, yeah, just having a wide mix of players makes it more interesting. The odd random player as well. Um, now,
My favorite player that played is Hugo Ten Hertog, who was the first person to reply to my tweet, and that's how he got his spot.
I really
Like I respect someone who's just on Twitter a little bit too much.
that is a good. I like that. The first person to respond to your tweet gets a
Well, it's the
place.
first grandmaster. Like I had to
Oh, first
be, we had
grandmaster.
to
Okay.
set a bit of a
Okay.
qualification.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think next time that's the plan.
Okay. So
I should
everyone
do that
get
more often.
follow Dodgy, get the grandmaster title, and you'll be allowed to play in this the most famous event online in the history of online events, I believe. Every other one, Champions Tour, all these other global, whatever, universal world championships, they pale into insignificance to this one.
Exactly.
This is the
You're doing
biggie.
a great job of pitching for another commentary gig at some point. I'll
Well,
definitely invite you back.
I'm literally just trying to hope that I get another invite next year and I don't embarrass myself to the chess. I have to say this. I can I request one player for next year?
Mm-hmm.
You can say no, but can I request it?
Is it Hans?
No, that's going to be tough. I want to go for Gormally.
Okay.
He's a chessboard author. He's a very dangerous player. I want to see him smash his computer if he loses a game or two. I want to see that raw emotion. Can we that and maybe like I don't know any. Okay, I'm going to wheel out lists of English grandmasters now because I'm very biased. But
Mm-hmm.
Keith Arkle, Mark Hebden. Just bear him in mind. Maybe you can have a little
Yeah,
qualification
I don't
tournament
like
with them.
Mark Hebden though. I don't like Mark.
Okay,
Not personally. Like I've
yeah,
just played him, and he really crushed me, and it was a very upsetting game for me. So
he crushed you too many times. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. I agree. Like I definitely those guys are kind of in the region of kind of different players that I think is
Yeah,
much more interesting to see them
yeah,
play. And even if someone like Garmali against Grischuk, obviously Grischuk is the favorite in those kind of games, but it's far more interesting to see those games than Grischuk
yeah.
against someone he's already played at this point hundreds of times.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, something like that. You can have a little weird qualifying. I can't speak anymore. There goes my commentary job. I nearly had it stable, but I've lost the ability to speak. Qualification tournament.
Yeah, I like the idea of an English qualifier. That's a very good idea.
Yeah, could be interesting. Yeah. By the way, I think somehow Lawrence has managed to save this ending. Can you believe it? I mean, this is now a dead draw. I mean, what happened
Yeah,
to?
he's just an incredible endgame player. That's what we've always known about Lawrence.
Well, I mean, when I was speaking to Magnus, I did ask him the question, Magnus Carlsen, like, you are probably the greatest endgame player of all time.
Mhm.
How did you become such a great endgame player? And he just answered. He answered with one reply. Lawrence was his answer. Just Lawrence, he said. So I think Lawrence has taught Magnus well. And look at this brilliant endgame play. This pawn can't be saved. The white king is shouldering that king away. It's a draw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So did Lawrence teach him his endgames, or did he inspire him to learn endgames?
I think it was both. I think Lawrence taught Magnus rooting really and
Mhm.
said, "Here's some typical engine to know, Magnus." And I think Lawrence has always been a bit of an inspiration for Magnus as well. To be honest, I think without Lawrence, uh, Magnus wouldn't be the player he is.
Yeah,
Well,
I can
okay,
see
a
that.
good, a good, a good, a good solid ball. Okay, which game did we say was critical? Let's go. Okay, well, let's have a look. A very important win for Salem there. That
Well,
is,
Peter Svidler did lose again. That's very unfortunate for him.
oh dear, Peter lost another one. Who did Peter lose to?
Maxime Lagarde.
We'll bring the results up before this. This is the penultimate round before the last round, but some critical games going on, and this one as well is looking bad for Lauren Fressinet. I mean, if he loses this, his chances of qualifying are very, very bad. Peter Svidler's chance of qualifying taking a massive knock, but I don't know. There's still some chances. I think it's getting very complicated. I can't work out the maths for qualifying. Can I leave that to you, MrDodgy? Were you any good at
Yeah.
maths?
Nope.
You
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
It does look, yeah, like there's going to need to be. There's a lot of people on 7, which is the 8th place. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Peter to qualify in the last round, and he does have to play
Right.
Muradli,
Okay.
who did lose to Elianov.
By the way, this ending, look at the time. I think what's happening here, Lauren is playing really quickly. And of course, White is winning this one, but he's got 8 seconds left. This is getting very intense. This is maybe a technical draw now.
Corey is incredibly fast. He's just
Yeah,
pre-moving everything.
he is really quick, right? He could win this on time, actually, even though it is a draw, technical draw.
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
like
take the
Corey's going to
rooks,
win.
take the rook off, take the pawn off. 2 seconds
Whoa.
left. Did he do it in time? No, he didn't.
No.
Oh, he got tricked. Oh, look at that. 1 second. Who even won that one? Oh, no.
Corey
Lauren
won.
lost. Did you see that dirty
Wow.
trick? That was an amazing trick.
Very professional flagging.
That was. I look at the bit of emotion shown there. You just showed that because that was kind of like okay, at this position with seconds to go, both of them, and this might have unfortunately ruined Lauren's chances of qualifying. And after the king came to c8, Lauren simply played rook takes rook, and if they, obviously this is which would at this stage, but this is a very, very is the pawn, and this gains a second, and obviously now is a so that was dirty, right?
Yeah, that was
But
very,
it is
very good
flag of
flagging.
the day.
Maybe we can bring
Good
up the
flagging.
standings before the last round and see who has a chance. Okay, so the leaders haven't really changed for a while, but yeah, it looks like I don't know if Peter or Laurent have a chance now.
Ah. I'm just
Doesn't
waiting to see the standings as well, and they'd have no chance really.
no, they need a lot of people to.
Ah,
Well, Fressinet, Laurent plays Shevchenko, who's also on 7, so he could steal
okay.
his spot
And who does Peter
potentially.
play? Let's have a look.
Peter plays Muradli.
Okay, so
Muradli's
that's
lost 2
irrelevant.
in a row now.
Okay. Um. So maybe the Lauren, but that half a point that he just lost there is so key, right? Because if Lauren had got an extra half point and he wins the last round, he probably is guaranteed qualifying, right?
Yeah. So Laurent plays Shevchenko, and the tiebreak is head to head. So he would steal his spot. So we should watch that one.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
he can recover in time. So that brutal
Has he got
loss.
pieces as well? So which is this game ready? Shevchenko is a very tough opponent, though. Extremely tough opponent. So Lauren
But
needs to win.
but as we all
Svidler,
know, Laurent is a Magnus Carlsen second, and he's not afraid to burn through Magnus's opening preparation for World Championship matches. So I would expect him to wheel out some spectacular novelty here.
yeah. I wouldn't say, just you gotta in matches like this, big matches, you got to come out with the big guns, haven't you? It's just clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it is direct encounters, right? That are gonna decide who
Yeah.
qualifies, right? Yeah. Okay.
So that's the first tie break. Um,
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens in the last round, but yeah, definitely must win for Fressinet, Grachev, Svidler, and Parafian to even have a chance. And Iturazaga might get there with a draw against Lawrence. Iturazaga actually plays Lawrence in the last round, so a win for him probably.
gets in there.
Yeah.
So Lawrence can still spoil someone's tournament. And Ilyanov, where was Ilyanov placed?
Ilyanov's in 8th place, and he plays against Shreyas.
Yeah. So if Ilyanov wins, he's obviously going to be quite confident playing the guy at the bottom. He's probably a little bit depressed as well.
Yep, but
Okay,
I mean, this is for Shreyas. I think this is just a learning experience. Is I guess he's
yeah,
not played a
yeah.
lot of games against 2,700 rated players, and
No, I
like the
agree.
reality is, if he plays this tournament again in 2 years, he'll probably be top 5 or something.
Yeah, very
So it's
possible.
good to get the experience, and then you learn where those guys are, and then next time you start to beat them.
Yeah, yeah. Just get the experience and keep playing at the highest level you can. I think that's one of the bits of advice that anyone I could give to anyone. The higher level you play, the better you're going to get. Even if you lose all your games time and time again, you've got to play as good opponents as possible in over the ball games, not just online, but where you can properly think. Okay, well, we're going to this game where Lauren. I love cheering for the underdog, and I want to see Lauren qualify. I really do, actually. I like the guy. Nothing against anyone else, but he needs to win to have any chance of that. We expect to win will help him qualify. He has the white pieces, and I quite like what's happening here. I mean, I'm very surprised that Black took this pawn personally, because positionally speaking, if White can win this one back, he has a better structure. So strategically
Yeah,
speaking, this is looking all right. Yeah,
yeah, this looks quite nice for White.
yeah, looks quite nice at the moment, doesn't it? And he's going. His last move, he's actually going for Maximin. So when I mean Maximin, he wants to take this pawn, but keep a knight on this square. So he's trying to bring this knight around, and a knight on that square is not going to be so bad. Okay, will he take the knight? He just retreat. Retreating looks very sensible. He's taken knight. This is also a good decision because when there's a pawn here, you blunt your opponent's bishop. And this is another reason that Lauren moved the knight back. Really good positional player, Lauren Fressinet. I think that's why Magnus Carlsen uses him as his second. And he's just making sure he keeps this like London system structure here where black can't get any active play. So still liking the position, but now black's getting ready to try and create chances with the f-pawn. So good last move from Kirill. What should we do here? Okay, just bringing the queen up. Very sensible. Heating up a little bit, MrDodgy, do we think here?
Yeah, this looks... Okay, he doesn't go for f5.
Quite yet. Maybe he felt that f5 was a little bit loosening. Possibly. I would have been tempted to play it, I have to say. But not everyone's as weak as me.
Probably only needs a draw. I guess. He's on 7, so probably he doesn't want to take too many risks.
Yeah. And again, I can totally understand why White's playing the way he is. White's relying on his pawns to be super solid throughout, and that he can win this pawn in the long run. Then he will just go a pawn up, and he's going to try to convert that. It's kind of as simple as that. And he has now won a pawn, but lots of things in exchange now. So
yeah, and now the center probably gets opened up for the bishop.
Yeah. Maybe this is something that Lauren missed, this last move. So obviously if black can win one pawn back, Lauren's winning chances are going to diminish a lot just because he doesn't have a lot of material left. So the queen comes in and we have more pawns being exchanged. This is looking most likely to be a draw at the moment. With this symmetrical pawn structure. I mean, White is slightly better because you can move his queen and threaten that one, but black can defend. Okay, Lauren just playing a solid move. This is going to be really hard to win against a player, of Kirill's strength from the white side. Going to be really hard to get anything.
Seem like this. So maybe we should jump across to Muradli against Peter Svidler.
Okay, so let's have a look. So Peter needs to win this game to have any chance as well, right? With the black pieces. Okay, well, he does have a threat. He does have a threat of checkmate. But if white can deal with that threat, there's some major issues that black has on the king side as well. So I guess Peter's idea is to maybe use this pin. But this Muradli, he finds such very nice tactical solutions. So, for example, if you go here, then knight b6 works anyway, because you take my queen, I take your queen, and I have too many threats available. So this queen f1. I mean, I think most people would play f3 here to stop this one. You know, if you weren't paying attention. But then suddenly this move is a lot stronger for black now, because after the knight comes here, you have more ideas which you didn't have before, because the queen is a lot looser on this square. So very nice move. Now Peter is on defensive. He's had to give up the exchange here. This is looking bad for Peter, I'm afraid, MrDodgy.
Yeah, this one doesn't look great for him.
Doesn't look great. And he must win with black as well, yeah? It's not just he needs to draw. He must win with the black pieces.
He needs a win. It's only Iturazaga that might qualify with a draw.
What about David versus Salem? Is there any I'm just having a look. By the way, Lauren Fressinet, let's go back to Lauren's game. Peter is really struggling here. But if we go back to Lauren's game, he's somehow managed to win a pawn. So I just want to quickly go through the moves, which has given him some chances. So we had this position very equal, but all of a sudden he has managed to take a pawn. And if we go to the current position, this gives him chances. I mean, black is still very, very solid. He's got this solid formation, but white is a pawn up, and the knight and queen work very, very well together. So can he win this, MrDodgy?
It looks like he's got some chances, and he can... Yeah, he's not up on the clock, but He's doing fine on time. And as the clock gets lower and lower, he's going to get more chances, I think.
Yeah, I think in positions like this, it's so important because you might not be able to win by doing anything too normal to keep up on time, isn't it? It is blitz at the end of the day, so you just got to try and keep up on time. And obviously, if you can get this pawn moving, okay, well, can you push the pawn now? What am I missing? Maybe
once
he
the
has
pawn
pushed the pawn.
starts
But
to
run.
run.
But I was worried about G5. Bishop takes pawn. Does that work? Wow. We're there of queen here, but Lauren hits out, and this is threatening the pawn, and he now comes back. I think this is Lauren could be winning. We could get one
Queen
of your
C7 is a
guys
very
through.
good spot. Yeah.
Really good spot. Yeah. Let's just show that because, okay, if you take the bishop here, black's idea is to check and you win the knight. White still has some chances here because of the pawn, but with the move played, Lauren counterattacks. Let's say you defend that one. Now I can take the bishop, and if you give a check, I have this defensive move. So we now go into a position where white is just a piece up. This is winning, right?
It does look.
Is he definitely going to qualify if he wins this one?
No.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh,
This
God.
does get
After
very
all this.
tense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So after all this, if Fressinet wins by, he's got great chance to qualify. Say that.
He does. I'm looking at the scores of people on 7. Salem did lose to Fressinet, but I think Salem's going to go to 8. He's going to beat. No. Well, he might lose. Yeah, it's going to come down to the head-to-head.
Right. It's going to come down to head. Okay, that makes sense. And by the way, Lauren is not proving that this is winning. The funny thing is, yeah, of course, white should be winning, but Kirill has gone into super overdrive, and now he's lost a pawn. So this is the is there a perpetual gone queen d1? I've actually gone the other way with the queen to try and get the draw. Still, if you can swap the queens off even, because there's only one pawn left. Okay, but it's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna win this one.
No, this looks very.
He needs
difficult.
to win. For the last game, when he basically lost just with 1 second on his clock. I think it's going to be another finish like that. Even the cameras have gone mental now.
Yeah, this is going to be very heartbreaking if he loses this one on time as well.
If he loses or even draws this on time, yeah, it's going to be this is great defense from Kirill. And Lauren's going to lose on time. Or did they say too slow? Didn't someone say? And he's lost, unfortunately. That is sad. Oof. Yeah. Okay.
Heartbreaking.
That was really tough. Yeah, he played really well, and he didn't really deserve to lose that one, unfortunately. So
no, that was a very interesting game.
Yeah.
So that is all of the games. We're done. We're finished.
Wow. Who qualified?
So if we get the standings, so Muradli obviously qualified. Corey, Sevian, Andrew Tang, Shevchenko, Lagarde. So we got one French guy in the next stage, at least, and Elianov and Salem. So those are the qualifiers. So this is probably the bracket. I'm not totally sure how this is going to work if if Magnus doesn't play. I guess maybe we have to swap Magnus for his replacement if he decides he doesn't want to play. But yeah, the next round is going to be Magnus against Salem Saleh, Shevchenko against Supi. I can't. Sorry, the text is very small for me. Sevian against Keimer, Jordan Van Forest against Corey, Dubov against Elyanov, Lagarde against Mamedov, Andrew Tang against Alexander Grischuk, and Pichot against Muradli. So there's some very exciting pairings there. But yeah, we have to find out if Magnus will play.
Yes. And hopefully, if David's back from holiday, right, as well.
Yeah, hopefully they can tag each other in and out when it suits them. That's the dream.
I like that idea. I like that idea. Tag each other all the way. Yeah, makes sense.
Thank you very much for joining me today, Simon, and thank you for playing in the tournament yesterday. I know it wasn't a massive amount of fun for you yesterday, but I hope you had some enjoyable games.
No, but maybe next year, eh? It was a disaster, but oh well, it happens. It happens sometimes.
So tomorrow we'll be back with 4 knockout matches, and if you had fun today, you should go to Chess24. Buy Chess24 Premium. It's only $49 for a year, or $119 for 3 years, which is far too cheap. You should bump up the prices. Go to Chessable, buy all the courses that are 60% off, and the courses that are not 60% off. Some of them are more expensive. It's fine. They're still discounted. And then, if you've got any money left, book yourself a trip to CGS. 11th of December to the 22nd. Lots of Grandmasters, big open tournament, sun, beach, Svidler, yeah. Me. Any last words, Simon?
Just a very quick thanks, MrDodgy. Thank you for having me on. For very kind to you, and obviously thanks for everyone for watching. And I know you're going to be continuing commentating the next couple of days. So everyone, make sure you keep watching. What happens?
I should also mention that tomorrow, Jan Gustafsson is going to be back. So Jan will return for the last 5 days of this prestigious tournament. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, and welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Enjoy 12 days of chess heaven at the Chessable Sunway Sieges International Chess Festival. Escape to the sun this December and take part in the spectacular Chessable Sunway Chess Festival situated in Sieges, near Barcelona. Play alongside top GMs including Ivanchuk, Isipenko, Adiban, and more. 10-round open tournaments with over 27,000 euros in prizes. Chess lectures from GMs most days, beer tasting plus sushi, pizza, paella, and cocktail masterclasses, World Cup watch parties, table tennis, table football, and blitz chess tournaments. Even better, Chessable Pro members play for free. You can find out more by going to Sunway Siege's website. Visit chessable.com/sunway.
It's time to take control of your journey towards chess mastery. Magnus Carlsen introduces Chessable, the definitive solution for studying chess. Move Trainer uses the science of spaced repetition to identify your strengths and eliminate your weaknesses. There's no need to set up a board, remember which page you're on, or keep track of all the moves you miss. Move Trainer empowers you to go from the opening to the end game with confidence. It's a seamless, effective, and fun way to study chess. Choose from one of the largest online chess libraries in the world, with hundreds of titles ranging from classic books through to our exclusive Chessable courses, including over 100 free courses. Get expert insights from International Master John Bartholomew, Grandmaster Sam Shankland, International Master Christoph Sulecki, Grandmaster Simon Williams, World Champion Magnus Carlsen, and hundreds of other instructors. Get started now and join our growing community of over 100,000 chess enthusiasts at chessable.com. Chessable, take control. Chessable, the definitive solution for studying chess. Choose from one of the largest online chess libraries in the world, with hundreds of titles ranging from classic books through to our exclusive Chessable courses.
I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the game. fully off my rocker, but